Then into our lives there comes a darkness and a spacecraft blocking out the sky, and there's nowhere to hide. You run to the back and you cover your ears, but it's the loudest sound you've ever heard. And all we trapped ragdoll cloth people, we are helpless to resist into our darkest hour. Hello, hello. Hola, hola. Bienvenidos a Esperanza Pense, donde la Esperanza Pense. Welcome to Esperanza Pense, where hope wins. Rafi's about to join us here in just a minute. Can I say hello to everybody? The song that I was just singing is called Dex Dark by Radiohead, and I really feel like that encapsulates the mood of the moment. You guys may or may not realize it, but right now I am in my hometown of Delavan, Wisconsin. Sorry, this laptop is literally on my lap, so the screen's going to be a little bit shaky this stream. I drove from Grand Junction, Colorado. Yesterday, I arrived at 6 in the morning. I started driving on Tuesday morning, like around 10 in the morning, and I got here Wednesday morning around 6, and that was yesterday. And I didn't really get settled in like at all. My niece goes to a local Catholic school. So at night, it was like 6 p.m. or something. We went to the Legion Hall down the street, and her Catholic school had a raffle, a fundraiser. So we went to that, and that was really fun. And it's like I am such a hometown Wisconsin person. Like that's just who I am. But the reason that I say that I'm at ground zero right now is because Raffi and I, when he gets here, we're going to talk a lot about this rollout with this so-called, and I say so-called because the word disclosure just has so much emphasis on it right now. And I'm just like, disclosing what? Like, we all already know the deal, but it's just that there's a lot going on right now where I, on a personal level, am not sure that I necessarily want all the secrets revealed, you know? Like, I have a Taurus moon. I'm pretty stuck. Like, I like Earth and I like things the way they are. And I honestly like don't mind lies that badly. Like lying to me, like don't make a habit out of it. You know, obviously don't make a habit out of it. But if you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings or if you're gonna break somebody's reality, like sometimes I think it's okay to like withhold information. Like that's how I feel on a personal level. Like I just feel like you don't necessarily have to tell everybody that their fucking dress is ugly or that their hair looks stringy today or like whatever. Like I don't want to fucking hear it. Don't tell me what my hair looks like. Like I know. I don't want to hear it from you, you know? There's Rafi. Hey, let's let him on. Hi.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Or am I muted or anything?
No, you sound good. I mean, I just
Everything's
joined,
good.
but you sound good right now.
Awesome. You look good.
Oh, thank you. You
Could
too.
you do me a
Although,
favor
was
though?
someone saying you look bad?
No, no, no one's saying that I look bad. I'm just saying that, like, I don't always want to know the full truth and nothing but the truth because sometimes the truth can break people, you know? And could you do me a quick favor though? Could we do a ooh, thank you, Heather. I sound seductive today. Well, perfect, because it's a Scorpio full moon. So I'm gonna come and say hi to everybody in just a second, but can we do a sound check really quick? Like Rafi, can you say a few things and then can we let people give us comments about what the sound sounds like? I sound seductive. What do you sound like?
Um, well, I'm always like I've been having issues like my first and second stream a little bit too. I was having audio issues. I think my last one was good, so I should sound okay. Hopefully, I'm not too loud, and hopefully, we're matching up all right too. Maybe people can let us know that if the sound is equalizing properly for both of us.
Okay, Heather says that we both sound great. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with us. Thank you very much. I really am humbled because those of you who tune in, you all are people who I very much admire, and um, thank you. I really appreciate it. I just want to do this before I forget. This is how you get a hold of Raffi. Raffi is on X. He's on YouTube. He is available for sessions. He specializes in chart rectification and geopolitical astrology, but he can definitely place you in the matrix and see how you are interacting with the current events. Is that right, Rafi? Or can you talk a little bit more about your specialty as far as accepting clients? I know you just redid your website. Could you please tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. And I think you described it so well. I mean, I'm finding that my niche is definitely like the geopolitical, mundane astrology, predictive, astrology for like the collective and everything, but that carries over into a person's life really well. And it makes me good at really prediction. So like if you're really antsy about a transit you have coming up or which direction to go, like very good for predictions. And then I would just say I'm pretty like average with other stuff, like synastry and all that stuff. Like I can do it and I offer that. But
Yeah, Rafi, could you please do me a favor?
mhm.
Could you please turn your mic up a little bit?
Yeah, let me see here if it's all the way
Just
up.
a
Oh,
smidge.
that's what it is. There we go. For some reason, it always wants to go to half volume when I don't mess with it. I think it's because I restarted my computer though. That should be better though. Is that good?
Okay, cool. Yeah, Janine, thank you, Janine. Janine gave us some feedback that said that your sound is a little bit quiet. Um, Let me also highlight that Rafi has started doing live streams on his YouTube channel. So if you guys could please all go and like, share, subscribe to his YouTube channel, then you will be aware of when he goes live. He does a lot of mundane astrology, like we were saying. And a good reason why we collaborate is because I view life from a very I take things personal.
Yeah.
Like everything to me is like all about me. Like I
Yeah.
have a Taurus moon, I'm very earthy, and I think everything has to frickin' do with me. So, whereas Raffi really specializes on taking the me and putting that in the framework of what is going on in the world in general, I'm really good at looking at your current transits, your natal chart, your progressions, I mean, I'll even check out a solar arc here and there if somebody really needs it, you know, but I don't so much do the predictive astrology as I do the personal. How is this moon affecting me personally? How is this moon infusing itself and sort of bleeding into my relationships? Okay. And before I forget, I just really want to say something. I have a fairy candle.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it cute?
That's adorable. It's
This
it's
was
so
given to
Gemini.
me by my best friend Kiki when I was like 15 because I've been into fairies for like ever. And she was like my best friend since I was like 5 years old. And she's an awesome person. She's a healer. She's an opera singer and she lives in Edinburgh and she like does sound healing for people and she teaches people opera. But
Cool.
so can I put something on the screen, Rafi?
Of course. And I
Okay.
forgot to say, by the way, my website is nightslate.co, but that's all in my YouTube there, which you have on there. So
Ah, yes. Anybody who is on this live stream right now, even when you watch the replay, I'm pretty sure if you click to have the chat come up, in the chat at the beginning of this live stream, I put the links to Rafi's link tree. So on your link tree, Rafi, there should be everything to get a hold of you.
mhm.
I put a link to my website. I put a link to both of our YouTubes. Anyway, anybody who's watching this live stream now or in the future on the replay, if you scroll back up to the beginning of the chat, you can find all the links, all the necessary links to get a hold of Rafi or me. And also be sure to check the description box below because it's going to have useful information like this. Oh, that's us. Okay, well, let me talk about this for a second because here, let me hide that. Oh, well, let me talk about myself a little bit too. This is how you get a hold of me. I'm also open for business and I do personal readings. So just esperanzapense.com. This is us. I'm hanging on as best I can to what vestiges of Earth that we have left. Rafi's looking at Saturn with the star above his head. Maybe that's Antares. And the little fairy is down here by the full moon just blessing us, right? But I would love for people to think about some of these themes right here before we get started. And I'm just going to go through, and this is in the description box for this video today. But let me just quickly, if it's cool with everybody, go through some of these themes that we're going to work through today. Then I'm going to say hello to everybody. Then Rafi and I are going to look at the chart and we're going to start to sort of untangle some of these themes. But the Scorpio full moon on the 1st of May, 2026 has to do with power, sex, secrets, death, including le petit mort. And le petit mort means orgasm in French. It means the little death, okay? Transcendence, reincarnation, detoxification, unearthing, underworld, okay? Caves, particularly the allegory of the cave, I'd like to dive into a little bit deeper by Plato. Um, he has his teacher, Socrates, in a conversation. I'm sure everybody here has read the allegory of the cave, right? I'm pretty sure, right? I'm sure all of us have read it. So we're
Right.
going to get into that a little bit. Mining, petrol, currency, numbers. For me, numbers are a dark, void, scorpionic. I mean, a lot of people would think that numbers are an Aquarian theme. I think it's scorpionic, which is interesting. Void, excavation, extractions, severing. Okay. Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Betrayal, truth in the lies, but also lies in the truth. Okay. Um, War, peace in parentheses, because the main theme is war. It's not 50-50. It's like 80-20, you know? Submarines, ships, things that lurk below the surface, darkness, and then the colors black and red. I think that these are all very symbolic themes that we're going to be dealing with. And then I would also like to introduce a few questions or reflexiones, as we would say in Espanol. How do we feel about being hoodwinked? What if there were no more secrets? What is lurking beneath in the depths? Where does our power come from? How do we protect ourselves? Can we handle the truth? Are we making the connections between death, sex, and power? Have we been following the money? I know Raffi follows the money. How gross does it get? Like, literally, how gross does it get as we dig in deep and go into this muck and do these platonic, scorpionic things? Like, how disgusting is this actually going to get while we detoxify? All right. Do we have any kinks, wink, wink, that we need to work out? Or do we have any kinks that, like, when they're brought to the surface, is it going to create a lot of problems? Like, are we a little too weird? Like, are things getting a little too out there, a little too weird? You know what I'm saying? Because, ugh, is there such a thing as truly beyond the pale? Like, really, is there a limit? You know what I mean? Like, are there some things that are just like absolutely unacceptable, or is just does everything freaking go now? You know what I mean? And then who decides what the truth is, really? Like, is it subjective? Is it objective? Like, how do we quantify these things? And who decides what this actually is? And then, just really quick before we get into our conversation and before I forget, the reason why I say that I'm on ground zero of all the information that we're talking about, the reason that I just left the frickin' recliner that I've been sitting in Grand Junction for the past like 6 months comfortably, might I add. Like, I don't want to freaking move or change or do anything. Like, I don't want to do anything, but it's my time and I gotta be here and I gotta show up. So, okay, fine. I'm back home, back in my homeland. And the reason why I say I'm on ground zero right here is because this is happening in my hometown right now. So starting tomorrow, if anybody's in Wisconsin or if anybody has the whatever wherewithal to get to Wisconsin and you want to come and see Chris Bledsoe literally like call in aliens, if you want to see all of this roll out like literally like where I'm from, Come, come on down. I snort. But I mean, I'm serious. Like, this is crazy. So, that's all I have to say for right now. Let's do the split screen. Raffi, I would like to say hi to a few people really quick, but if you want to get us started, how do you want to do? Do you want me to put the chart up? What do you what visuals or do you have visuals for me to put up for you?
Well, right now I'm just using astro.com, so it would essentially be the same chart. I know you usually draw on the chart, so that'd be the only difference is I didn't draw on mine. So
I
I don't
didn't
mind if
draw
you
on
put
mine
it up.
either.
I'm running like OBS through StreamYard right now, so it
Okay.
might just be easier for you to put the chart up.
All right, I'll
And
put
I
the
could
chart
even
up
talk
after I
about
say hi.
what I went over in my my stream last night. I could talk a little bit about that just while you're saying hi to everyone, and then we could lead that into the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would really love you to talk about your stream, please.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So, and this isn't something I've really heard anyone talking about or anything. There was the information, the latest information that Dark Journalist picked up. or dropped rather. I picked it up, and from that, like right after that, maybe like 2 3 days after that, was the White House Correspondents' Dinner in the shooting that everyone knows about, and then I heard that this guy who did the shooting, Cole Allen, that he was connected to JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs, from NASA, and some people jokingly call it Jack Parsons' lab because of the occultist who, was very well. He blew himself up, working in there. But no, so I made that connection because there's this pipeline of people who go to Caltech and then go into NASA and JPL and all that. So this guy went to Caltech. We know about the shooting that happened in Caltech earlier. I guess there was one earlier this. I was getting like two different dates because I only knew about the one that was late last year. Apparently, there was one early this year too. Both of these people being in that whole milieu of people in the aerospace, but then the JPL has the connection to, what is it? There's Los Alamos Labs, Sandia Labs, like a bunch of different labs, and then you even have Redstone Arsenal based out of Huntsville, Alabama. And so this is where the Space Force is moving to, and this is the whole fight that's been going on, which was the reason for the assassination of JFK. All of this, but really, there's all of this stuff coming out of Huntsville right now that it's just got its tentacles in everything going on because it's around disclosure. So I'm calling this the summer of disclosure here. And I was able even to connect the current astrology. I put an astrological lens on all of it. I was able to connect this astrology to 1988 and 22 missing scientists and the Roswell incident as well, which was on July 4th. And we're about to have on July 4th, our like really America return.
250 years. Hmm.
Mm.
Yes, something that I really honed in on from your live stream last night was the fact that you remembered a lot. I don't think a lot of people are talking about those 22 scientists that went missing in 1988. And another thing that I remembered, and because I lived through this, I'm old enough to actually have been there, but I'm not sure if were you born in 1994? No,
93. Close.
93. Okay, so you were about a year old, but in the early to mid 90s, there were a lot of herbalists and naturopaths that died and went missing too.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. So there's a theme here
So
of
that was
death,
the
rebirth, resurrection.
what was that? That was the Uranus Neptune conjunction.
Mm.
Wow.
Hmm. So I really I don't know, I just really appreciated that you brought that up last night because I was in a chat. I watch Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, and by the way, he's gonna he's gonna be here. He's gonna be hosting this conference. He's probably in Delavan right now. He probably just got here, honestly. And so he's going to be hosting this conference, and on his live stream last night in the chat, I kind of reminded everybody that you had mentioned that in your live stream, and I told
Oh,
everybody to check it out.
Renu there, towards the bottom. I met her in Dallas. She's really cool.
Who?
Renu, I think that's how you pronounce it. I remember meeting her in Dallas, and she's
Oh, she was at
a
the
wonderful
bridge?
woman. Hmm.
No way.
I don't think she was speaking or anything, but I know that she was there. Yeah, and I added her on Instagram and everything. We've messaged a little bit here and there, like every couple months.
Well, she's in Delavan. They're all right here in my hometown. And let me tell you, my hometown is so normal that like most of the people that live here have no idea that this conference is even happening. Which, I mean, I had a booth at this conference last year. I was reading tarot cards. And the only reason that I don't have a booth at this conference this year is because I was so fucking busy that I couldn't exist. Like, it was so popular. Like, it was crazy. But let me say hi to everybody. Um, I want to say hi to, oh, hi. Integrity and Karma is here. I love you. Merlin, I love you. Merlin. Okay, Merlin has been producing. Merlin, if you're still here, I don't know if you're still here. Um, Let me see. I'm
You know,
I'm
with Merlin's stuff, I've been making sure to go in and like everything too, and then
oh,
I'm over here
man,
producing too, so I'm trying to make time. But I've got like 3 on the list to watch, and there's such value in the stuff that he's sending out. You know?
Merlin is a traditional astrologer, and he views things through this lens, and I'm learning so much through his viewpoint, and I'm learning so much. He's just a very clear communicator, and the way that he presents things with a sense of humor and levity, and but yet he's very well researched. He reads a crap ton, and I just really appreciate his perspective. Like, I don't agree with it all the time, but I appreciate it so much. Um,
Yeah,
Janine is
he's a Gemini,
here.
isn't he?
Hmm?
Was he a Gemini? Is that right?
Yes, he's a
Okay.
Gemini. I believe he's also a Cancer ascendant, just like me.
Oh wow.
Um, can't remember where his moon is. I've definitely looked at his chart, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, he's a mid-late degree Gemini sun. I would say his birthday, but I don't know if that's, I don't want to like be
Oh
like, oh,
yeah, of
his birthday
course.
is bippity blah blah fucking blah,
You want to chart
Um,
docs?
yeah, because you know how it is. Um, but oh, who has no audio? Charlie has no audio. Okay, here, let me go through here. So I said hi to Merlin. Hi, Merlin. Hi, Janine. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Heather. Hey, Steve. Hey, Dead Wolf. Um, did you know that Dead Wolf's name is Steve? Uh,
Oh yeah.
Heather says that we sound okay. All right. Um, our tone and volume are similar. Okay, great. Um, we are all students. Christy Aphrodite, hi. Amanita, hi. Oh, she's a fan of Merlin too. Um, Sprinkle, aka Charlie, hi. I'm sorry you don't have audio. I don't know who you are, but I hope your audio comes here. Okay. I think I got everybody for now. Did I say hi? Is
Yeah,
Clay
I
here? I
asked her
thought
if
I
she ended
saw.
up getting her audio fixed. I don't know if she's still here, but we'll
Is that a friend of yours, Rafi?
not that I know or anything. It could be. Not that I know though.
Okay, so whether you are friend or bot, be sure to unclick the mute button on YouTube. And so now, oh, is Merlin a Capricorn moon? That would make a lot of sense because he is so Saturnian. Like, he keeps time like a motherfucker. And he's like obsessed with Saturn. Capricorn moon would make so much sense. That would make so much sense.
Yeah,
Did
I
he
know he said
mention
his
it? Okay,
one
yeah.
time, and that
I
sounds
I
like
ran his chart. Like, his chart is in my we're just like talking all kinds of shit about Merlin. He's probably sitting right there. Um, but anyway, speaking of charts, let me throw this chart up and we can start talking about this moon because sorry, we've taken a slow start, but I'm a Taurus moon, so everything goes slow for me. But instead of putting all my fixed stars and asteroids and all the stuff that I usually put, I just put the normal planets for normie people that might be watching this live stream. Does everything look doable to you, Rafi? Can you see and can you work with this? Or would you like me to
oh
put
yeah,
up a different picture?
I can work with this. It's good. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. So we will stick with this chart. And did you want to get started with some of the things that you saw and felt while you were working with these alignments, Rafi?
Sure. You know, one of the things I was looking at was well there's the what is it? Mercury and Chiron, like right on top of each other. That really stuck out to me first, and I was, under all this Aries energy that we've been in, it seems like we're coming to this moment of confrontation of something mentally in order to move forward. We've been keeping track of the astrology, of course, and seeing what's been going on with Saturn separating from Neptune here. We're really starting to build the things and establish all of these things that were really hard to picture earlier in the year. It seems like any remaining trauma, especially with the Scorpio full moon, it's like being brought to the surface of our mind, to the front of our mind, and then being allowed to be released if we can, of course, utilize that properly. I still am not sure if that's a finger of God. It's been a while since I've seen that, but I think there's the finger of God pointing down to the moon too. So
Yes,
it's all
you
revolving
are
around that.
correct, and I'll get into that a little bit more, the
Okay,
specifics.
sweet. And really, we're just having that Venus separating from Uranus here, and we really saw what that brought with the conjunction right when it moved into Gemini there with the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting.
Yep,
And I know
yep.
with Jupiter too, I mean, the trine to the moon is going to be nice, but I think on the world stage here, this is like big secrets being revealed. And then you've got these squares going over into Aries. So on top of the big secrets being revealed, it's going to have to do with what we've been setting up with that North Node in Pisces, like not really knowing why we're setting it up. And a lot of these things are going to click in and make a lot of sense.
I tend to believe that what is going to click in, and I think that the secrets are inextricably linked with war. I feel like any sense of reveal, disclosure, information dump, or whatever is to put people in a state of chaos and panic. I pretty much think that the only organic element of any of this is chaos. The only organic element of any of this is chaos, particularly chaos magic. And the reason why I repeated that twice is because Uranus is in Gemini. And when people's minds break, their minds are going to break first, and then they're going to break again. I really think that whatever's rolling out now, like you have mentioned several times in your live streams and in our personal conversations, we need to keep a really strong eye on Venus now. And then we got to pay attention to what Venus does during Scorpio season. So for me, with these new moons at such full degrees, right? For pretty much the last past year, up until
Oh,
recently, like the past like year and a half, all of our new moons have been right around 28 degrees. And then this last new moon was right around 27 something, okay? So these new moons are still happening at really full degrees. But that means that when we come to the full moon, for example, this full moon in Scorpio, even though it's a full moon, it's still gonna seed and plant things that we need to review come Scorpio season. Okay, so come November, let's take a relook at this video. Let's take a relook at what themes we're going over now. Because when that Venus retrogrades right back over these spots, and we're dealing with themes of love, money, resources, creature comforts, Taurus, Earth. I think it's going to come back around, you know? And I think there's a potential to be shocked even again, right?
oh, definitely. And that was really what got me earlier this year to do the prediction on a massive change to like all of our finances on a personal level, but really on a massive scale, like a change, the first step to the change in the financial system. It wasn't just the retrograde, it's the fact that it's in Taurus here on that same axis. It crosses over into Gemini, but when it first crosses, it's still in Taurus. Then it conjuncts in Gemini as well. And this is like more of a commerce kind of vibe and all that with Gemini. And then it goes all the way back around retrogrades. And this is going to be at the same place as that, as the full moon as well. Like, because I think it's only like 16 degrees in or so when the retrograde starts. It goes back into Libra a bit.
Yep.
So
So
definitely, and
everybody
that's what's good about
who
us having the North Node in Pisces is like there's a lot of things we're doing in terms of in that realm that like might not make sense to us, or they might happen to us and they don't make sense, and just can't try to control it because it's going to set us up properly for that time period.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for reminding us about the North Node in Pisces because, with all this Aries energy, with Uranus going into Gemini, like it's like other aspects have been taking center stage, other aspects have been getting the spotlight, but the North Node is still in Pisces. There is still delusion. There is still a veil. There is still um a screen. You know what I mean? Like movies. Like, for example, in June, that Spielberg Disclosure movie is coming out, right? What is it, mid-June?
Yeah.
Probably right around
That's
my birthday, Merlin's birthday. I bet you it comes out on Merlin's birthday. But yeah, let's not forget the North Node is still in Pisces. So that's like fucking Deluluville. That is dreams. Okay, pay attention during dream time. A lot of stuff has been coming up lately of like, again, at Jimmy Church's live stream, a couple days ago or last night or something, they were talking about gifted and talented programs and the way that we've been raising our children through the school systems and like dream spaces and like the mall dreams and different things like that. Like
I'm gonna check that out.
Jimmy Church
I'm
had
I'm I'm in the
never
dream realm
even
a lot.
heard of the mall dream. He'd never
'Cause
even heard of it.
yeah, no, I've had dreams like that in the mall, so I'm like interested to know what he said. I'll
Oh,
look
do
at
you know
that.
what it is?
No,
You
no, I just like know that I'm like, oh well, I've had dreams in malls, like recurring ones, but I get a lot of recurring dreams.
seriously? I
This is
thought
my
everybody.
human
Okay,
design.
okay, 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 okay. Back up, back up. Here I am trying to make fun of him, and now I'm about to make fun of all of us. Okay, so the mall dreams happen. There is a theory, okay, that some of us, maybe all of us, I think probably all of us. I don't think it's like anything special, but I just think that there's some people that notice and some people that don't, or and some people that connect it to certain things and some people that don't. But apparently with some of this, MK Ultra, Monarch, blah blah blah, like massive um structures of mind control, apparently there are dream spaces where we go that are controlled. Okay, so it's not necessarily just our subconscious at play. These are actual dream spaces that we astral project to. And some people believe that there are selected, targeted individuals that go to these spaces. I tend to believe that we're all targeted. So nobody's
Mhm.
targeted. I think that we're all, anybody who has human DNA, like you're not special. And again, Pluto and Aquarius, no one's special.
Yeah.
We're all subject to this, right? But there were certain kids, I don't know about where did you go to elementary school? Are you from Vegas or
Oh, in
Oh
Minnesota,
no, Minnesota.
I went to an elementary school called North Park.
Did you guys have like a gifted and talented program or
We
something like
did,
that?
and I was in it. Yep.
Okay. So maybe there is something to that. I mean, maybe we're not all targeted, but I mean, maybe some more than others. But I guess these gifted and talented programs, and if you want to learn more about like the real front lines of this, do you know who Danny Katz is?
Oh yeah, I love Danny Katz. I found out about her through Robert. I didn't know about her before.
Yeah. James Bartley spoke about this long ago, Maya says. Um, okay. So, let me
Sag full
put
moon at
Danny
5:31.
Katz. This is for anybody who is interested in what an MK Ultra kid, what their perspective would be like and what they're like as an adult now. And she's actually going to be speaking at the Elementals gathering. Um, Did you hear about that, Raffi?
I don't think so, no.
Oof, gosh. If anybody is around the Ozarks, I know Christy Aphrodite is in the Ozarks. She has the Ozarks Church of Nature. And pretty much, oh, let me just say, anybody who happens to be in this chat right now, pretty much everybody in this chat has their own YouTube channel. So Christy Aphrodite has a YouTube channel, Ozarks Church of Nature. Um, in the Ozarks, coming up here pretty soon, I think within the next month, they're going to have an elementals gathering. There's going to be herbalists, and the guy that does the biochar is going to be there, Chris. Kyle, who does Tippecanoe herbs, he's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Christy, but Danny Katz is going to be there, and she'll be talking about her experience as an MK Ultra kid and how some of these dream spaces are actually manufactured, right, by mind control shadow government entities. All right. So, okay, maybe that's not common knowledge. I thought it was common knowledge, but like Jimmy Church had never heard of this before. And I just thought it was kind of funny because considering the line of work that he's in, but I think that he's just very much like an alien disclosure person. Like he's obsessed with like disclosure, as a lot of people in that realm are.
Hmm.
Now,
Well, and it's like now with the Piscean energy moving out, I feel like people like that are really expand. That's what I've seen. People they're expanding into other things and going deeper than just the alien stuff because it's like that weird Piscean paradox, where it rules like the spiritual and all that, and really what you would find to be good and true, but then it also rules delusion and like how far can you go with that? And I think people are realizing how far the UFO community went, and with people like Lou Elizondo and these people who are fake disclosure people, and they're looking for something more solid and sturdy, like things that Danny Katz goes over, or like astrology and all that. And you were kind of seeing this overlap now. That's what I saw last year in the conferences I went to, of course, one of which I met you at.
yeah, yeah, very Piscean, very drunk, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
straight up. And for me personally, this Scorpio full moon, I think for me personally is really going to bring up the darkness of this side of things. Like, do we really want to know the truth? Is it safe? And when we are exposed like that, when we are fully naked, like where's our armament? Like what weapons are we using to, you know what I mean? Because if I walk out naked into the world, I have nothing covering me, everything's open. Like, do I really want that? I might get cold. I might nip out. You know what I mean? I might want a bra on so people can't see my nipple. You know what I mean? Like, why the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
do I want everything in the open? Like, what's your take on that? How do you feel just like as a person? Like, do you really want to know? You do, don't you? You can handle it, can't you?
I think I was made for that. I think I was made for how
Mm,
dark it's going to get when people find out things they just didn't want to know.
mm,
I brought up on our streams before the recurring dream that I have. And, this is kind of what I was getting into earlier. I'm like very active in the dream realm, but this recurring dream of people, of a huge truth being delivered to the collective and people just walking off of buildings because they can't handle it. And I think there's a part of it where I can at least distill it down in a stomachable way. There's probably a better word, a digestible way for people. But I mean, the darker it gets, like I just like that a lot more. It's my sun Pluto opposition.
I hate it. And see, this is why we get together and have these conversations because we're coming from totally different points of view, but we're like still like,
Hmm. Well, and
brother
then
and
even on the world
sister.
stage here, stuff's getting more violent and just worse and worse and worse. And the Trump admin, who even knows what they're doing? But I'm over here. The more chaos that happens, I'm just like, oh, finally something's happening. Okay, can we speed it up a little bit? Like, let's like have some real destruction so we can get to the good stuff. Like,
And I'm like, motherfucker, give me my slippers. Give me my popcorn. Where's my tea? Like, I don't I don't want to know. Like, I'm like, And it's so funny because, like I said, like I'm at ground zero. I have a ticket to this freaking event. Like I don't even know, I am not going to any of those Skywatch. I don't want to, I have had enough crazy supernatural experiences. And I continue to have them in my day-to-day. Like I block shit out on purpose. Like I'm not like you. Like
Yeah, yeah.
everybody knows I'm a psychic and some people even know that I'm a psycho. And but there is a level of humanness that I embody that just can't fucking take it, you know?
Well, that's what I love about you too. And it's just like you were saying a second ago. I mean, that's what's so beautiful about when we come together because we just come from totally different spaces or like sources, you know?
Yeah. And what you brought up really kind of leads into some of the things that I wanted to talk about with the I'm going to take us off of the screen
Ooh,
so that
I
people can
love the
see all of
cave. Let's
this.
get into it.
This is the allegory of the cave. And how you were saying that, like, some people, when they really do become illuminated, so to speak, or when they really do see the sun, when they come out of this cave and see the light of day, that they're really gonna jump off of cliffs here. So let me just read through this. The allegory of the cave, I'm sure everybody already knows. It's a conversation between Socrates and what was the guy's name? I
Plato,
forget what the other it was
Socrates, and
Plato's
Plato.
teacher.
Oh, it could have been
It starts with a G.
gee,
Um, well, I don't know. I thought I had the thing up here, but I don't. But it's a conversation between Socrates
Diog
and another teacher that starts with a G that I can't remember the name.
Glaucon.
Yes. Socrates supposes that the prisoners are released. So they're sort of doing a mind experiment. A freed prisoner would look around and see the fire. So there's people in a cave, there's a fire, and the only thing they know about reality is basically shadow puppets. Let's put it that way. So once they're taken out of the cave, they're pretty much blinded by the light, you know? The light would hurt his eyes and make it difficult for him to see the objects casting the shadows. If he were told that what he is seeing is real, instead of the other version of reality that he sees on the wall, the projection, he would not believe it. In his pain, Socrates continues, the freed prisoner would turn away and run back to what he's accustomed to, the shadows. The light would hurt his eyes, and he would escape by turning away to things which he was able to look at. And these he would believe to be clearer than what was being shown to him. Okay. And then it goes on to say that the free prisoner would think that the world outside the cave was superior to the world that he experienced in the cave. And then he would attempt to share with the prisoners in the cave, hey, come out, see the light, yada fucking yada. But we see what's happened to the people that carry the torch and try to pull others into the light. That's not working out so great, is it?
No, jeez. I mean, at this point, the level of doubling down people have done over the last 6 months on their belief system is it's like it's actually shocking to me. It's shocking, Uranian, but it's very shocking. And at this point, it's like, how are you gonna? This is why I'm like, I can understand what you're saying with not like almost not wanting to know the truth. Like, what's that gonna do to people? You know?
And I'm also, I, everybody and their freaking brother was like, when is this Pisces energy gonna be over? Man, you're like, oh, when can we get out of this Pisces fog and birdie freaking I'm like, I'm clinging. I'm like, I am not letting go of my beer can, my PBR. I am hanging on. I'm like, you guys, like, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
That's been the realization I've had actually the last like week and a half or so, I'd say. I'm like, I've been so pumped for this Pisces energy to go away. And now I'm kind of like, oh gosh, what am I going to do when it's gone? Like that was kind of a safety net I had for a lot of stuff. And not even just like substances like marijuana, like having a drink, all these different things, or doing some psychedelics, but just like having it allow me to function in a certain way and to escape. Like there's not really going to be that same escape that we had.
No escape. There's no escape, and there's no rest. There's no retreat. I mean, we have to remember that Pisces rules over personal time. Pisces rules over the time that you have to dream. The time that you have to dream not in a freaking mall, you know, the time
Yeah.
that you have to dream for your own self and to take your own time and to have rest and retreat and visions, you know. Aries is like action, war, aggression, your body. If you haven't been working out, then Saturn's going to punish you, right? Because Saturn's in Aries. Oh, and actually, speaking of Saturn, let's pull this chart back up again. And because we had mentioned here this yod, this finger of God, okay, that exists in this chart. And Raffi had delineated some of the first things that he saw when he looked at this chart and how that relates to our news cycle. And now I'll get a little bit deeper into the technicalities of these angles. So if you can find Venus in the chart, can you see Venus? She's over there at 9 degrees of Gemini. And she's crossed over Uranus, which is at 0 degrees of Gemini, which is also big news. Uranus in Gemini is going to usher in a whole new 7-year cycle of, in my opinion, information overload. What is your big takeaway for Uranus in Gemini for the next 7 years, Raffi?
For the next 7 years, I think it's going to be a lot of technologies that were being worked on really since even the last cycle of Uranus and Gemini. But a lot of those are going to just be exposed abruptly coming out in very weird ways, very disruptive ways. And this is kind of, I think, why we see a lot of what looks like our society going downhill, but it's a new process of deindustrialization that we had, which was actually in the last Uranus and Gemini, funny enough, when you think about it. But yeah, like a lot of people, I don't think the elites are stupid. I don't think, like in some ways, they do crave and want stability, but they know that a new change needs to come in. So I think over the next 8 years, we definitely see stuff like that. And then even like around, say, these scientists too, because you're dealing with science and all of the different aspects and facets of science right there. And even I think when we get, this is like way later on here, once Jupiter comes back around and crosses over Uranus, and I believe that's happening in Libra. Like that's where we get like bio engineering and technology really taking, but that, I mean, that's quite some ways off. But that's another aspect of it. But there's such a scientific, it's the mad scientist, with Uranus. So we're also going to see where science goes too far, especially in terms of AI. And there's no restrictions on it right now. They just got that into legislation that they can't put restrictions on it for at least during the time of Uranus and Gemini. They can't do any type of, yeah, like what is it? Yeah, just restrictions, I guess, is the best word. But they have that now. That was in the big beautiful bill. So I think just a lot of instability, but instability that we can work with in terms of information and technology.
Yes, well said and and well researched. I know you do a lot of research in the wee hours of the morn. Um, to give people some context, the last time that Uranus was in Gemini, it goes on an 84-year cycle. So if you do the math, let's see, that would put us right around World War II, right? Or leading up into World
Mhm.
War II.
Oh,
Okay.
and let me correct myself. I was thinking of something else in Libra that I was looking at last night. It's actually going to cross in Leo, which even makes more sense because that's your genealogy and stuff like that. There's that genetic aspect.
And
Sorry,
children.
sorry, keep going. Where
And
oh that
children.
and that's where Jupiter will cross again with Uranus.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so Leo has to do with the individual. Leo has to do with the sun. You know, just like you said that the North Node is in Pisces, and we're kind of forgetting about that. Like, I just really feel like, especially with this full moon in Scorpio, what is being highlighted for me personally is Pluto in Aquarius, Venus in Gemini. And then, like you said, pretty soon the moon's going to go into Libra over these degrees. There's going to be those aspects with Jupiter moving into Leo, and and everything's going to shift a little bit. But I think that getting back to the yod, getting back to the finger of God, if everybody can look at the chart right now and find Venus. Venus is the symbol that looks like the women, like the lady, the women's bathroom symbol. And Venus is over there in Gemini at 9 degrees. And then if everybody can find Saturn, Saturn is in Aries at 9 degrees. Okay. So Venus and Saturn are making a sextile. And that is an aspect that you have to work with. A sextile doesn't come naturally. However, it is something that if you know that it's there, it's something that you can take advantage of. It's similar to having, like, say that you have a membership somewhere. Say you have like a Sam's Club card or something like that. And they run certain specials every quarter. But if you're not aware that the special exists, then you can't take advantage of it. Because it's like one of those if you know type things. A trine is obvious. A trine is like everybody gets a discount across the board. You go to pay for your groceries with your Sam's Club membership, they automatically give you 30% off. Okay, that's what a trine is. But a sextile is, you know, you have your Sam's card, you're gonna go shopping, but you were sure to check your email or to check your alerts before you went shopping so that you could download the coupon code. The sextile is a coupon code. You kind of got to know how to use it.
Yeah,
Does that make
I
sense? What
like
do you
that.
say a sextile is, Raffi?
Oh, there was a way when I was first getting into astrology that Robert Phoenix had described it, and it was in terms of past lives and stuff like that. And he was talking about it's an aspect, essentially what you're saying though. It's an aspect that, like you can do something with it. And he was talking about this natally. He was like, you can do something with it, but you're just going to have to work a little at it.
Yep. And the first step is to be aware that it even exists because it might pass you by. It's not obvious.
Hmm.
So at the top of the chart here, we can see in Gemini over there, Venus is in Gemini, Saturn is in Aries, and they're having a sextile. And what is a sextile? Well, it's right in the word sex. So the way that we want to work with this is we want Venus to be having sex with Saturn. And when Venus hooks up with Saturn in that romantic, beautiful, sensual, holistic, natural way, then the finger of God that is pointing down to this moon at 11 degrees and 21 minutes of Scorpio is something that we can work with instead of having it work us. Okay? So if everybody look at Venus, look at Saturn. You see these dashed green lines coming down from Venus, from Saturn, all the way down to the moon? Venus is making a quincunx with the moon. Saturn is making a quincunx with the moon. And then with each other, they're having sex, or ideally, they're having sex. If we're aware enough to find areas in our lives where we can take, Beauty and the Beast. Like it's literally Beauty and the Beast energy. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
like that. Well, and it's so funny too because I was thinking of I was thinking of like a fairy and like yeah, and like Bigfoot or something like that, you know. Like even though Bigfoot's more like peaceful, people think of it more in the violent sense, you know.
100%. And speaking of disclosure and speaking of contact modalities expo, there's going to be Bigfoot people there. There's going to be like there's this whole consciousness, okay, that we're all tapping into, and all of these physical representations, be it a fairy, be it Bigfoot, be it Saturn, be it Venus, be it the moon itself, be it us or you and me, we're all just physical manifestations of this greater web of consciousness that we're all, and contact modalities has to do with like, how do you contact other realms and what is your modality to do that? Like for me to access my subconscious, I honestly, even though I'm in this business of channeling and dare I say intuitive abilities, I don't monetize my like my psychic abilities are for myself. Like I don't let people pay me to be a psychic for them on their behalf. I let people pay me to coach them how to be psychic themselves, but I don't let people use my gifts for money. They're for me. Um,
Yeah, I totally agree with that too, with that mode of operating too. And when we know that Edgar Casey operated like that too, where it was like he would see these detrimental things happen in his life whenever he accepted money for using his gifts.
mhm. Yeah, you got your own gifts, and I can help you use them and find them, but they're yours and they belong to you. And just as, we help each other out, obviously, you help me with your gifts, and hopefully I help people with mine.
Yeah, you helped me for sure.
I
Well, and
hope
then it's funny
so.
because really the last stream was like the full circle for
Hmm.
you and I and everything like that. But it's still, it's still even worth bringing up the new moon Scorpio that we did for the first time during this full moon Scorpio, because there's another type of full circle we've come around with. And I was really just evaluating how comfortable you got me to be on camera. I had been with Jesse before, but I was more going into an audience that's not really aware of astrology and all that. It was a bit of a different vibe, and there's a lot that you brought out of me that prepared me to be able to stream on my own, and that's something I'm so thankful for. And that's just a case where you did, bring out the gifts in me.
I'm such a proud mom. I am though. Like it gives me so much joy when well, and I think that that's a big part of my job here on the planet. Because like I'm just a fool card in the tarot, kind of stumbling my way off the cliff, you know. But if people can look at me and say like, well, shit, if she can do it, I can do it, you know. I think that's a big part of my job. I think that's a big part of my calling is to just show up, and if I can do it, you can do it, obviously. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Um, but yeah, back to how to work with this moon
Oh, really
specifically.
quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Really quick, you're just making me think because I've got this like new wave and deep dive I've been doing into human design, and it's just like it's making a lot of sense to me and it's fun. So maybe that's a good idea for our next one. I can take the next 2 weeks or a month if we're just to. I think we were just going to do full moon snap. We'll figure it out. But anyway, in the interim between here, I could look at your human design here and see because there's been a lot of stuff as you're talking about how you operate, why you're here on the planet, and all that. It's making me think of these things that I kind of knew, but seeing the human design really confirmed it and gave me more clarity on a lot of these things of like why I'm here, what I'm supposed to be doing, like how I'm supposed to be doing it, and all of this.
Well, let's make plans for that then, because now that Raffi has his channel up and going, he's doing new moon live streams, and we can all tune into that. And then Raffi and I together like to work together on these full moon live streams for the astrology. I do the tarot for new and full moons on my channel, but when Raffi and I work together, we like to talk about the full moon. Well, we have a full moon. This month of May is special because we have two full moons this month. We have the full moon in Scorpio coming tomorrow, right around, what was it, 12:23, 12:24 p.m. So, like right around midday Central Standard Time tomorrow, we're going to have this full moon at 11 degrees and 21 minutes of Scorpio. And at the end of the month, we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius. So, when we do our Sagittarius full moon, maybe we could talk more about the human design elements and some of the other personal astrology that you've been learning about. And like we did, you're right. This is such a full circle moment because it's circles within circles. Because the Libra new moon is when we met at the Bridge Expo.
Hmm.
Now it's the fullness. Now I'm going to the Contact Modalities Expo, which is like a half a year later, and we started streaming together at the new moon in Scorpio, and now we're at the full moon in Scorpio. So people can understand like how these cycles of time work within our lives. And you can break down these cycles of time to where like if you have a new moon in your life, what is happening? Keep track, because in 6 months' time, you might come full circle, you know? And obviously, everybody in the comments here is already a student of astrology. I'm pretty sure most of us are. Ask the Pool Man, I would like to say hello to because I haven't said hi to you yet. And thank you so much for being here. I think that Ask the Pool Man is from Longo. Ask the Pool Man, are you still here? Can you tell us if you're from Dr. Narco Longo? Where did I
Oh
meet
yeah,
you?
maybe he is.
The name looks familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I feel like I've seen him before,
I've
some
seen that
in one of
name.
the
Yeah, I think
chats.
it was at Longo's live streams, but I really welcome you. Thank you so much. And Integrity, thank you so much for being here too. And everybody,
Oh, it's
Heather.
good to see you again, Integrity.
Oh yeah, we love your hangouts, Heather. We love, yeah, Heather and Miriam on Woke One's Revolution. They do great. They dissect the moon. They do everything. They are like
Oh yeah.
on it,
Well, and
you
the
know.
stories that they get into and telling too. I love like the anecdotal stuff.
Hmm. Yes, because like we're saying, like this plays out in the news, but it also plays out on a personal level. And I would love for people to be aware of symbols coming across their face. Like if you keep seeing repeated symbols, it might be your life talking to you, right? So,
Mhm.
so
Well,
back to
and you
this
were
finger
bringing
of
up,
God.
we were talking about for the next full moon stream in Sagittarius. It immediately made me think of your new moon in Sagittarius stream that we did. And I mean, I just immediately think of the video that you have with like the horses and the archer. I loved that. That was so much fun.
I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, the new moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius does have to do with an archer. Did you know that I'm an archer?
Yeah, I found out during that stream.
Yes, I'm an archer. I practice a form of archery called Kudo. I'll put it in the comments here. Kudo, look it up. Um, my
Oh, hey,
teacher,
Robin.
Robin's here. Yay! This is my teacher. Kyudo is a Japanese form of archery. You have a bow that's about 6, 7 feet tall, and you have an arrow that's about 3 feet long. And a lot of Kyudo archers are samurais, or at least they were a samurai in a past life. That's what my teacher told me. He said that I've done this before in a past life. He said that I
Nice.
used to be a samurai.
I was just looking at a
Um,
couple pictures here.
do you have pictures?
I had them pulled up right here. I mean, I could screen
I
share
could
if
put
you
them
want.
on the screen for you if you want.
Let's see here. Yeah, we'll have to see how. Let's try it here. Let me do share screen, and we'll try here because I'm gonna need to be able to share it in the future anyway. So we'll see how it works. Like the whole OBS going on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Kudo was a practice that I took up right around 2012, like right around when we were having this last sort of paradigm shift, if you will, mass paradigm shift here. Um
I was
is
just
when I
looking at
took
some
up
of
Kudo.
these.
So 2012, that would have been 14 some odd years ago, which would have been two Saturn cycles, two Uranus cycles, 14 years, there's a lot of symbology in the number 7, the number 14. I'm going to add your thing to the stage. Before presenting a screen, remove other media. Okay, so I gotta remove something before I add yours. I gotta remove that. And then we can see what you put. Okay,
Yeah,
so
just a
this is your
couple.
screen.
And then there were some pictures of the samurais up here too, and then they've
Mm-hmm.
got it going on just so the audience can see. I was just looking at it for myself. I think I had looked this up before though too. This is a nice little blast from the past to look at these again. Yeah, I had no idea about this though.
Yeah. Um, it's it's an ancient sport, but it's also an ancient meditation. And this is kind of bleeding into the full moon, the second full moon this month. So we'll probably disseminate more of this in the future. And maybe I'll do a demonstration. Maybe I'll figure out a way to sort of demonstrate like how we can move into our bodies and actually embody this Sagittarian energy. But um this is just giving you guys kind of a teaser for what we may or may not talk
Yeah,
about in the
and
future.
did you end up doing a short during the new moon where you were doing some archery? Or maybe you showed a video on the stream of you doing archery because I remember seeing you.
I might have. Raffi, I can't remember yesterday. I I literally just drove like almost 20 hours in the car. Like, did I tell you that?
No, no.
Okay, here. Let me put both of us on the screen and let me mute my picture because I need to go and walk in the other room. But I'm gonna put myself like a cartoon like this. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't even know if I told you this, but like, well, I was in Colorado, right? I took like 6 months or so, left Wisconsin, went on a road trip. I told you all that?
Yeah, yeah. I do remember
Yeah,
that.
I don't think everybody like on the YouTube channel knew about that necessarily.
Yeah, I think
But
I remember you saying you were kind of not really hiding it, but you were just kind of keeping it to yourself.
yeah, like I don't really like advertise necessarily like where I'm at all the time because it's like we're on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, you know what I mean.
Hmm.
But yeah, like for the past 6 months or so, I kind of took like a little like sabbatical. I went to the Ozarks. I saw Christy at her farm. I saw our buddy Tom. Remember Tom Jordan from
Yeah,
Roberts? He was like a mod on Roberts chat.
yeah.
Oh, and when we mentioned Robert, you guys, we're talking about Robert Phoenix astrology. So here.
I heard that. Well, never mind. I'm not going to gossip. Never mind.
We'll do it after. I'll keep you
I've been
on
really
after.
good at catching myself in the middle of gossiping.
Well, I mean, Gemini vibes. Like, what are you gonna do? Uranus is in Gemini. You gotta talk some level of shit.
Right.
But when we talk about Robert, we're talking about Robert Phoenix astrology. And I saw Tom, I saw Christy, I saw remember Janice?
Hmm.
Yep, she has pigs, she has goats. I saw her pigs and goats in real life.
Yeah, I did. Wasn't that right after? I
Yeah.
remember some. Yeah, and I haven't seen her in forever. I miss her. Like, there
Yeah.
was like one time we got into an argument, and it just made me respect her even more. And then I just started loving her. But I stopped seeing her like I don't know, a couple months ago in Robert's chat.
Yeah, well, she's amazing. She has a lot going on because she's a farmer, obviously. So it's like this time of year gets like so busy. You know
Oh,
what I
I
mean?
bet.
Like pretty much pretty soon, like I'm not gonna have a life. Like I'm just gonna be like planting and
Yeah.
harvesting and weeding. And that's like all there is to it. That's a very Aquarian thing. People forget that like Aquarius energy also has to do with the earth. You know, like Aquarian energy has to do with space and outer space particularly, but it also has to do with Earth and like planet
Hmm.
Earth. Wow, I'm really close now, right? Hey, you guys want to see my nose? Um, just
Oh
kidding.
my
Do I have
God.
boogies? Um, but Aquarian energy also has to do with just being like human. You know, it's not just all outer space. A lot of it has to do with the Earth itself. And so Janice is as a farmer, as a homesteader, as somebody who's self-sufficient, she has a lot of chores to do. But also, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago, her father passed away. And
Yeah.
so she's been grieving and kind of dealing with that kind of stuff too. So God
Yeah, because
bless
I
you,
remember
Janice. We love you. We miss you.
we do
But
love
yeah,
you.
I
We miss you
saw I
so
saw her
much.
homestead like in real life. I met her son and I met all her animals. She has a goat named Io. She has a goat like I know like her dog's name
Oh,
is Asha. Like I became friends with like her animals and so like
oh, that's
yeah.
amazing.
And she made us homemade pizza with
Ooh,
rabbit sausage. She raises her own rabbits and she makes a sausage out of it. And then she made us like these pizzas. It was really awesome. So yeah, I saw
that's
Janice
amazing.
and um well, when we're talking about Robert Phoenix and Robert Phoenix astrology, and I don't even know how I got on this topic. Maybe you can help reel me in.
Oh
But we
yeah,
were
how did we start?
we were just talking about
Oh
how
yeah,
things are
just
coming full circle from, oh, I know. We were talking about how things are coming full circle from like me taking this sabbatical to like everything coming full circle to like being back here. And now it's the time of disclosure and the news and all that kind of stuff. And like honestly, Raffi, my spidey senses are telling me like I have no astrological or other reason to think this, but honestly, I don't want to admit it. I don't want to see what I'm seeing. You know I don't want to see what I'm seeing. It never amounts to any good. You know, like just like Plato's cave. You bring people out to the light, they're blinded. They don't want to see that shit. They want to go back in the cave. They don't give a fuck. But I see what I see, and I think that this weekend at this specific conference here, I feel like some stuff is going to go down that is going to begin that snowball effect that you're talking about.
oh definitely, yeah. I can see that happening.
And
Maybe
I'm going to put the chart back up there so we can speak about the specifics of that. But the reason, I guess I do have astrological reasons for that. Like, can you give me some astrological reasons why you think that there's going to be a snowball effect of quote unquote disclosure, even though we already all know?
yeah, well not to even just be basic with it and point to the full moon, what like which is what the stream is about and everything. But I mean, that was one thing I don't know if I brought this up earlier, but my whole prediction for this full moon is it will begin this cascading effect. So I like that you said snowball, but there's this cascading effect that it's going to begin of like things just coming out, things coming out, you know. And we could kind of see them making the moves already, and I can see the pressure too. There's some type of pressure being put on the elites, on the people running our society, where I'm used to how slow they move. They're so Saturnian in how they move with things, and they're like, we'll kind of get to it. But there's this scrambling that's happening that we can see, and we can see it through the scientist deaths that have happened. It's imminent that they're getting ready to release some type of information or do some type of operation on us, some psyop. You know, I'm definitely leaning much more towards the latter of it being a psyop. But there's something they know they can't escape that's going to be coming out, and they're trying to get ahead of it, and they're scrambling for it. So I think that really, when you have situations like that, these conferences are where you kind of see, and you know, you've been living longer than me, so you would know this on a much better level and living through it. But these conferences are really where you see these things start to blossom and start, and then, like you said, that snowball effect. And Uranus is in play too, so you know.
Yep. Yep. And to bring up another point too, like speaking of Jimmy Church or speaking of anybody who is speaking at these conferences or speaking of you and me or just anybody in our general lives and how we are all subject to this energy. And I do believe that we all have handlers. We
Mhm.
all have handlers. Whether we realize it or not, whether we're in touch with our handlers or not, they're fucking using us, you guys. So either you just accept that and make peace with it and consider it to be just like part of the fun game that you're playing with, or um oh, did you just do that?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
thought
cool.
I
You
had
can
taken.
do that? I didn't even know you could do that. Awesome. Great. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my handler.
I was like looking up. Well, I guess I was looking it up while you were saying. So go ahead and finish. I was just kind of seeing when
Yeah, no,
a
but
date was
like
on something.
I really think that like everybody who's on the forefront of this movement, quote unquote, bowel movement, who knows what the fuck kind of movement it is, but I feel like people are subject to a lot of stuff that they don't even realize that they're subject to, or maybe they realize it, but there's not much they can do about it. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of what I think keep your eye on Delavan, Wisconsin, like literally. And I hate to say it because I don't want people to be looking at my town. I want my town to be quiet. I want people to not notice us. I want us to have our way of like I said, I was at the Legion Hall last night for a Catholic school fundraiser. Like nobody has any idea what the heck we're talking about, or even the fact that like even 5 minutes up the road that there's all these ancient alien people and stuff coming into town and talking about these topics. Like nobody even it's kind of nice,
Yeah, that's
you
going to be an
know.
interesting dynamic. I wonder. I mean, do you actually have that handy, the chart of your town?
I
That'd be interesting to look
don't.
at
Oh my
and
gosh.
like cross it with this, with the full moon chart that is, and then also even just the event chart itself as well. What I also find really interesting too, which I think we both meant to get back around to this, but we kind of forgot with all the other placements. It, you know, so obviously Scorpio ruled in modern astrology by Pluto, and then
Right.
right after we get out of this full moon, then we have the Pluto retrograde beginning. So we'll be
True.
under that full moon energy with the Pluto retrograde beginning and all this new Uranian energy. And it's like something's coming out, something wild is coming out. And I think we'll kind of see a resistance on it. But as Saturn continues to separate from Neptune, it's already out of orb. But as it continues to separate, then it's kind of like, nope, this is on my timing. These are the things coming out. And this is something I went over with like a lot of the dispositors between the different charts of the Roswell chart, the different 1988 conjunctional charts and stuff. All of these have this like Aries and of course Gemini and Aquarius energy in play here. And so these things are really coming back. So it's like what's gonna slip through the cracks essentially.
Holy crap. And then speaking of Pluto, it is in orb. I mean, it's a wide orb,
Hmm.
but it's squaring the sun and moon. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
square. And you know, and so that, yeah, what's gonna happen when it comes out of orb? Because we've been in that square since the shooting happened,
That's
you
right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then we've got the whole idea of the releasing with the full moon, like right when we're out of the full moon is like when we release from that orb with the square, that is with the sun Pluto square. So that'll like really be interesting to see go down. I think and this is gonna of course depend on the person's chart, but for the fixed signs, 11-degree planets on any fixed signs, look at that in your chart. Or of course, look at the, just if you don't have any planets there, look at that area of your life and see kind of like what realm is this really going to hit me on, what's about to be uncovered, what's coming up. For me personally, that ends up being my third house. So I'm like, oh gosh, like what am I gonna find out about? Like, is there gonna be a person around me, friends, that's gonna something weird? Am I gonna find out something about a car which I'm about to buy? Because I'm using that for daily transit. I've kind of just been running it through my head here. I'm like, oh, like where is this gonna hit with third house Gemini stuff for me? Like we're back to the Gemini stuff. You know how I work with that energy. I'm like, oh, great, okay. And then you're gonna add Scorpio on top of that. How am I gonna control myself with a Sun Pluto opposition in Scorpio, Pluto in Scorpio?
That's some deepness. Yeah. Yeah, that's some deepness. This full moon lands in my fifth house.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That'll lighten it
Arr.
up. I feel like, but that's like, I don't know. You're over here kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? But I'm like, I feel like it's going to be good for you.
I think so
I
too.
mean, everything's good for us, right? In the end, technically. But it's just like,
In my case, I think it's going to be the good good.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, I remember when we went over your chart and I was like, oh, fifth house Scorpio. I'm like, you a freak? Okay.
When called upon, when my time is called, when my number is pulled in the raffle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Like off stream, I'll have to follow up with you on that. That'll be interesting.
We'll talk about it at Sagittarius season.
Oh
But
my
the
goodness.
finger of God is pointing towards the moon itself. These past few moons that we've had, the attention has kind of like the moon has been there, but the attention has been elsewhere. We're either looking at Saturn or we're looking at Uranus or we're looking at Venus or we're looking at, who is ruling this moon? Mars and Pluto. Where's Mars? Mars is in Aries. Mars is at home. Where's Pluto? Pluto's in Aquarius. Pluto isn't necessarily the most comfortable, but Pluto's pretty powerful. Squaring off to where it actually is in its domicile, right? So there's a lot of tension between humanity and the more depths of our actual human nature, you know? So I think that there might be a lot coming up about like what are our roots? Where do we really come from? What is really happening? Um, but like we were saying before, the North Node is still in Pisces. Do not expect for everything to be unveiled right now. It's not going to happen.
Hmm. It's more of like
Once,
like I said, the first steps of it where you kind of see something, but it's not quite all the way. And it's like, oh, there's something there. And how I brought up, like, they're gonna try to control everything, be like, no, no, no. And like like a little something's gonna slip out. And it's like, oh, that's interesting, but it's not the full truth either.
yep. And there's going to be a lot of like, look here, not there. And
Yeah.
I mean, let's just face it, like the scorpionic themes have to do with like the freaking ep file bullshit and these PDF files and yada yada yada. Like the reason they're going on such a hardcore assault, literally, of war, of disclosure, of mass information, of information overload, is because people are trying to hide secrets. More disgusting secrets than just aliens existing. Because I mean, come on, everybody knows that fucking aliens exist. It's just the where and the why and the how and who are we gonna kill to freaking get there and how you know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
why are all of these like cultural icons and scientists disappearing from our country, from other countries, from different hemispheres? And also, I'm very curious with Pluto and Aquarius, why isn't anybody talking about the third world? Like, why isn't anybody talking about like the people in the bush? or the people in the Amazon, or the people that don't do live streams and stuff. Like, why isn't anybody talking about just like the average like farmer that grows that doesn't go on the internet? You know what I mean? Like, there's this whole conversation isn't very holistic. Like, there's a lot being left out.
Hmm. You know, there was this really Plutonian guy who came on the Sean Kelly podcast. I think his name is Big Homie CC or something, and he deals with sex trafficking and all. Like, I was just watching him on screen. I'm like, this guy is very Plutonian and stuff. But he actually went to the third world here, like all around in Africa, and he was talking about his experiences there and what they care about versus what we care about. And I think with Pluto and Aquarius, it's going to be very innovative for them in terms of as these things, and this kind of gets into some of the predictions I made, but as things happen and the third world starts to starve, I think they'll be very innovative and start to come out on top, you know, by the end of this Pluto cycle. I think that'll be really interesting to see because the whole issue is fertilizer. There's like, they really don't have fertilizer in Africa. You know, we've got plenty of it to grab from Canada and from South America. We even ourselves don't have like quite that much, but we've got a fair amount and everything. But you know, the whole idea that I've come up with what Trump is doing, who I was like so critical of for so long, and like still technically am on paper, but it's like, oh, okay, like I kind of want like a change to the system, a radical change. But he's bringing everything over to the U.S., purposely losing this war and everything, so we can pivot to our own oil, annex Canada, annex Greenland. You know, we took Venezuela for all that, and I would agree with you, woke ones, on Heather, that is, on the time travel aspect too, because that's you know that's kind of the thing that people don't want to talk about. But there was that, I brought this up in my stream yesterday with the whole UFO technology, the anti gravity plasma physics, and all that. There's the whole thing that happens called apotheum, where physics goes out the window, and a side effect of this, and this is why you have the stories of people going through walls and you know being pulled up to the mothership, going through walls, that kind of stuff.
I
They're
used to
not
go
like
through
time
walls when
standing
I was a
still.
little girl.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
And
it
I
seems
used
to
to
be
go
related
up.
to psychic abilities too, like you're, you know.
Yeah, I used to leave. Sometimes I would leave my body and sometimes I wouldn't. Um, there's a difference. There's a difference between like levitating and actually being physically pulled up somewhere. And there's a difference between like reassembling yourself physically after you go through, you know, because
Hmm.
you can fold space and time. Say I'm in a room right now, like I'm in this room. I can fold this room together and pass through. That's how you get through a wall. Now, don't freaking re I can't freaking remember how to do it anymore,
Right.
like without drugs. But yeah, I used to do shit like that all the time. I'm actually writing I'm writing something right now and I'm describing that a little bit, I think, maybe in my writings, but it's somewhat relevant to what we're talking about because like you said at the end of this Pluto transit, so like within the next 20 years, I think the third
Mhm.
world is going to come out on top. We're going to realize that they knew it all along. We're just play acting, you know? They've been having contact with these realms the entire freaking time. We just don't understand how to read what they've been writing on the wall the whole time. And most of the technologies and most of the modalities like exist right here. It's just that if we can remember how to access and use them. So I'm sorry, I just cut you off and interrupted you. Totally.
No, no, I love what you added, and yeah, the only other thing I was gonna say is just there's gonna be a time period in the more immediate, like 10 years or so, where it doesn't look like we're going to be able to, like, the third world is going to make it or anything, and there's going to be this whole Russia and US kind of thing and hegemony going on. And Russia, it seems like it's going to take, they're going to take like a lot of Europe or parts of it, not quite all of it, but like a good deal of it. And then, you know, we've got North America, South America. China's going to have civil strife, we're going to have civil strife. You know, this is kind of that civil war stuff coming back up. But yeah, with what Robin said, yeah, big homie. Like she, see, I just found out about him. I didn't know about him until like 2 days ago, or something like that. And I guess he's been around though, and I just love the stuff that he's talking about. And honestly, I don't often find like black people I have any, not to be like that, but like to that I have any interest in really listening to. And I was like, oh my God, finally another black person that I can like listen to on the daily, and like I like their content and stuff. So he's really cool though, big homie. And you can tell that he really has a sense of justice for like the way he goes undercover and exposes these rings. I guess that's all what I was getting to, is just these Plutonian themes that in typical Pluto fashion, they're kind of flying under the radar until we think about it. Even with what we were talking about with the chart, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we didn't really talk about Pluto that much. Let's bring it into, you know.
Because Pluto is low key running shit. Pluto is the
Hmm.
slow burn. Pluto is, over time it shall be revealed. Mars is like, here I am. Here's what I'm doing. This is what I'm cutting. This is where I'm doing surgery. That's where I'm going to war. But Pluto is that depth of power that comes over time, and it's a different kind of power than Saturn, you know? Pluto
Yeah.
Pluto is the power that you get from mining and from digging through gross stuff. Like Saturn is the power that comes from building structures. Saturn is the power that comes from making boundaries. Pluto is the
Hmm.
power that comes from folding inside yourself and like going in your own systems, going inside the earth, going into the mantle, going into the core. Oh,
Hmm.
also,
And you
before I
can build
forget, I
all
would
the
like to
structures. Oh,
talk
sorry.
about. Hmm?
I'm sorry. I didn't want you to forget, but I also wanted to add to that.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you can build like the best structures in the world, all like all you want, and take all the time and be very consistent, methodical with it. But the whole entire time, you can have someone underneath you mining stuff out, and that whole structure can collapse. And that's like really the power of Pluto, I think.
That is brilliant. That is exactly it. Could you say that again?
Yeah, yeah, of course. You can be as methodical as you want, building the best structures over a long period of time. And the entire time, someone can be mining underneath you, and those structures can collapse when you finally finish them.
That's
And that's
exactly
Pluto
what
right
this
there.
Pluto is about. And this Scorpio full moon might give us just like a little hint of that. Because, like we say, it's the finger of God. The finger of God is pointing towards the moon. But if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. If you're not working with that Venus and Saturn sextile, if you're not actively working, trying to get Venus and Saturn together, and who's Venus? Venus is the young beauty. Venus is the one that gets sex trafficked, right? Venus is the embodiment of what it means to be carnal, incarnate. Venus is transactional, okay? Venus is something that you can pay for and get a service, right? Venus
Hmm.
is love and money, but there's also that aspect of like, being realistic and understanding that sometimes to get feminine pleasures, you need to pay. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
there's
I
going to
like that.
be some sort of transaction involved. So we have to have this youthful beauty being able to work with this beast, this Saturn, this elder, this old guy that eats his own kids, like the guy that's making the rules, the guy that's the papa, the guy that's the big daddy. You know what I mean? The guy that keeps the time clock, the guy that tells you where you have to be and when. So,
Yeah, and
what are,
the interesting thing with that too is I feel like we get a continuation of these aspects between Saturn and Venus in a weird type of way as we have Mercury cross over into Taurus, and then we
mm-hmm.
get that mutual reception between Mercury and Venus there. And then as it crosses over, of course, it's crossing that Chiron. So there's something coming up here that's like being brought over between this relationship right now we've got between Venus and Saturn. And it'll depend on the chart, of course, but
let's talk more about that Mercury Chiron conjunction.
I know. I think we brought it up and then kind of we went off. I mean, that's what we do. At least we always wrap back around, right?
Yeah,
Most of the
that's
time.
why I'm so in love with you. I mean, like there are so many reasons why I feel blessed that we all met each other at the Bridge Expo, but one of them is that you and I, like we go all over the place in our conversations, but for some reason we always make our way back home, don't we?
Right.
Um,
Really.
but so how do you see the Mercury Chiron conjunction in Aries? That's happening at very similar degree to our last new moon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing is there, we're closing out this Chiron and Aries, so it should be pretty apparent what it was to work on through the Chiron issue, that everyone is having. And it's going to hit in different ways, because for my Chiron, it's in Leo, so it's in trine. Like it's hit me in a very different way than it's going to hit someone who's got a Chiron in Cancer, say, especially like in those same degrees. But like really, I think that there is like this last little bit that this like mentally gets brought to the forefront, and we want to be careful with all this background Aries energy, because like we can allow that, especially these next couple of days, we can allow that to become like an angry outburst at someone that we care about, when really it's about ourselves. And then like we get into this space here when we're in that mutual reception between Mercury and Venus there, where we can actually do something, build something around like, okay, like this happened to me. I can accept that this happened to me. Like, how am I going to work with this? How am I essentially going to beautify it? How am I going to actually use this to attract people towards me? So there's that attractive force with Venus that I always like to bring up. And then, of course, after that, we've got Chiron moving into Taurus, and this kind of starts this whole new wave of things. On the mass scale, by the way, it's the last thing I'll say with it. On the mass scale, what I've been saying since about like October, I think, is that when we have Chiron moving into Taurus, we've had the last few years of this. With really healing of the masculine energy, I think it going into Taurus is a healing of the feminine energy, like that. And we're going to see men being a lot more extreme and a lot more in their masculine energy, which won't always be a good thing. But there's going to be women now adjusting to it, and like how, and this may even be a period where women deal with a lot of abuse or restricting of certain rights and things like that. Not saying that I want that to happen, of course, but it's all part of the process. And then once we get into Gemini, it seems like that's where we have the genders come back together with their newfound power. That's where Pluto and Aquarius comes in with their newfound power, and we're able to move together into building this new world.
Well, and even with Pluto and Aquarius, with Uranus being the modern ruler of Aquarius, Uranus is so much stronger when it's in the first degrees of a sign. And it is making kind of a loose trine to the Pluto, which is in its rulership in Aquarius. Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, and Saturn is making a loose sextile to Pluto currently. So, once again, like whether we see it obviously or not, Pluto is low key, slow burn, running shit in the background. And these are changes that we will see roll out over the next 20 years or so. The Aries, the Neptune in Aries, the Saturn in Aries, the Mars in Aries, Mercury, Chiron, everything in these degrees of Aries, they just want everything now. I want disclosure now. I want information now. I want the truth now. Okay, well, you get everything fucking now. Another thing about Aries is that things blow in and they blow over real quick. Like it's here
Mhm.
today, it's gone tomorrow. Like you get your information now, and then we're already on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? But in order to integrate and get deeper and actually understand what's happening now, like you said earlier in this stream, look down the road. Look to where Pluto's going. Look to where, like eventually Pluto's going to make its way, through Aquarius. and then it's going to move into Pisces. Pluto in Pisces is going to be really, if we make it, God
Dude.
willing.
Yeah, that thing it stuck with me what Robert said about Pluto Pisces. I think it was on the Sunday Night Astro Live, the last one that he did, where he was saying Pluto and Pisces is like, are we like he said it in such a fascinating way. I won't be able to reproduce it, but he was essentially like, are we even alive at that point? What is life at that point? Like, is that the end of everything? You know, like the way that he went over it was really interesting.
All
And
that
it's
popped in
like,
my head when you said that right now was Hillbilly Elegy. Hillbilly Elegy. I think there's a piece of work, I think there's a piece of art, honestly, called Hillbilly Elegy. I think it exists. If it doesn't exist, it's gonna exist soon. But that just came through while you were saying that. Hillbilly Elegy.
well, and I just remember while you were saying that that was something that he had brought up was will we even be in our bodies anymore is what he said specifically.
Yeah.
And you can tie that in with, of course, artificial intelligence, the metaverse, whichever realm you want to. I mean, I definitely we've went on those threads before where I talk about the eighth sphere and the Steiner work and like that they're trying to set up this whole artificial container for our souls. And I think that'll be an aspect for sure. But you know, there's
Raffi spoke
the
of
other.
this on our last live stream. If you want to check that out, the eighth sphere, some of
Oh
Gigi
yeah.
Young's work and AI.
I
But
felt like it was
Raffi,
like longer ago, but I guess it was the last.
I think it was the last live stream that we did together. I know a month is like ages.
Dude,
So much
seriously.
happens.
It's like time's moving so fast, but because it's moving so fast, you get somewhere faster and look back and it seems like it's been longer, you
Well,
know?
yeah, and especially since in this past month I've aged like 10 years.
Oh, well, I don't see that personally, but
That's
if
why
you're
I
talking
love
about
you.
on your physical body, like I don't, but if I can understand you saying spiritually, but damn girl, you know
You
how
know what
good
I
I think you look.
mean.
You know, no hetero.
I know you're not hetero. No, no hetero.
Oh man.
But like, hi, I'm smiling. Oh, I love I'm
Oh,
smiling. They're one of
it's a
my
smile.
favorite chat friends.
That's
Um,
so cool.
yeah, I'm smiling listens to Jimmy Church's podcast, The Fade to Black Radio. And yeah, like I, this is another thing that I hate to admit because it's kind of something that I'm personally adjacent to these worlds. You know what I mean? Like I don't give no offense to anybody out there, but like I don't give a fuck about aliens. Like I really just don't. I don't give a fuck about aliens. I don't give a fuck about disclosure. I don't give a fuck about any of it. But I like Jimmy. I like him as a person. And I like the conferences that we go to. I like the people that I meet. I like the experience. You know, I like the human aspect of all of this. But I'm very suspicious. I'm so suspicious. I'm so suspicious of these entities that people are channeling. Like, just because you feel good and just because you think it's like the Lady Mother Mary, and just because you think that you feel at peace, and just because you think that you feel like uh whatever consciousness and one love, it doesn't occur to you that like you could be being played.
Well, and it's like you were bringing up with Jimmy Church and the dreamscapes, dream world, mall dream, that kind of stuff. It's like you gotta really be careful because when I was in my early 20s, there were a lot of just very odd, weird when I started navigating the dream space and all that, like just crazy shit that happened that I mean, I won't even start to get into it, but it's like you have to be able to protect yourself. You have to like really have some contained energy if you're going to be connecting with other things like that and going into these other realms. Like you need to be prepared first and really know what you're getting into. And it goes off the deep end so much in many different ways.
100%. And
Yeah.
some of the people in the chat are saying like the tech bros and the AI have nothing to do with spirituality. And then I'm
Mhm.
Smiling said something very wise too. A lot of grifters out there. You know what I mean? Like, and it's true. Like everybody's got to eat so far, unless they technologize ourselves out of that. But as far as I know, last I checked, like we still got to go to the farm and make our food. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm concerned with. Like I'm concerned with what's underwater. Okay, and speaking of Pluto and Aquarius and this full moon in Scorpio, I really think that this full moon in Scorpio is going to highlight and set off, like you were saying, a domino effect of disclosure. But instead of looking at the sky, I think we're going to be looking underwater. What do you
I
think
like
about
that.
that?
I like that too. Well, and it very much fits with the Plutonian vibe. It fits with Neptune, all of its play that it's having in Aries. Now, of course, you can think of that as like, oh, well, wouldn't that be more in like Pisces that would happen and stuff? And I'm like, oh no, I'd say that's like more Aries. You got like the it because if you think of it in a metaphysical sense, the evaporation of the water, like what's coming out when the water is evaporating. And then this even gets into my whole thing I was talking about last night with Uranus and how it's the ice queen and stuff and these aspects that it's making over into Aries and will continue to make. That's like, oh, okay, ice melting, shocking
Mm-hmm.
things from the ice melting, like what shocking things from what's coming out, when it aspects to Neptune from what's coming out of the water, and then these aspects to Pluto as well.
Can you talk more about the South Pole and Antarctica in terms of what you were just saying?
Yeah, I mean,
With the
I
ice
it's
melting and maybe things coming to the surface, floating to the surface. Because like you were saying, I think that Pisces is the mist. Pisces is the clouds.
mhm.
Pisces is the fog. Okay. But but Aries burns off the fog, and then Scorpio, this moon goes into the depths like a submarine, like
Yeah.
probes,
And
you
I've
know.
thrown out a lot of stuff as I've went back and reevaluated a lot of the UFO community. I've thrown out 80% of it, but the stuff as I've gotten into astrology that can still stick, that's still that, I can't because there's been a lot of it I can just use astrology to get out of a lot of this very Piscean stuff with the UFO community. But then a lot of it can still stick, and especially like Gigi Young's work, bringing that in to it and like what kind of the nature of what aliens really are and stuff, and that there's not quite as many as we're thinking. Like a lot of these are like Atlanteans, all that stuff. But really along that thread in that realm, what I've been able to find that seems to be consistent is they're getting ready to disclose something from Antarctica. There's like that whole pyramid that's there, and there are pictures of this pyramid, by the way. Buzz
Yes.
Aldrin was it Buzz Aldrin, I believe, who saw it and had the heart attack when he saw it. And think about it, we're at war everywhere right now, except apparently the Antarctica peace treaty is still holding up. So, like what's there's something that's been getting prepared there for a while. I think they were planning on doing it during the first administration of Trump, but they thought it was going to be Hillary, and then they ended up holding it off. And now there's just kind of at this point where they have to drop something. It needs to be under their control. So this is kind of what I think is I think they're going to be like, oh well, we found something. Like, look at the thing that we found down in Antarctica, and then try to feed us an alternate version of humanity that works for them, though it won't be the truth by any means.
And there will be a nugget of truth. Like we were saying before, there's truth in the lies and there's lies in the truth. And what we can identify, digest, and work with as regular, degular, everyday human people may or may not be any sort of mixture of that. And I think that what people are asking for, if they actually get what they're asking for, I think it's really going to break a lot of people. I don't think they're going to be handle I don't think they're going to be able to handle what they're asking for. I think it's like a person that asks to win the lottery and they don't know what to do. They never should have give these niggas money.
I'm saying though, really, I heard the statistic of like they're like, what is it, 80-90% of them are out of the money by like the fifth year of having it. It's like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah, like what are you gonna do with all this information? Like your brain, most people's brains can't handle this shit, you know? And those of us who can handle it don't want to handle it. Like I don't want to handle it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with me is even on like it sounds great on paper, like I'm all excited, like oh yeah, like sounds great, but it's like I am such a homebody, such a fixed, like slow, like sit down and kind of just and I'm like oh like how is that gonna mess with my comfort? As a Taurus, it's like how is this gonna mess with my comfort? And that's kind of the thing where it's like maybe I don't want this so much, but that is why I came here, unfortunately.
Yeah, when you're getting called on, whether you have your hand up or not, sometimes you just get called on and you get called in front of the class. Like that just happens. But like I'm hanging on as long as I can to my anonymity, to my creature comforts, to my snacks. You know, like I don't want any of this because like the what people are asking for and what people are wishing for, in my opinion, it's foolish. It's a fool's game, but it's okay. It's the game that we're in. It's a game that we're playing. Now, back to Gigi Young and this work and these aliens and stuff like that. Now, something that's occurred to me is that I feel like there are multiple I think that there's more aliens than we can even imagine. And I use the word alien loosely. What I mean to say is I think that there are other dimensions. I think that there are other energies that for some reason or another they embody themselves in human flesh. There's something very special about human flesh. There's something very special about that Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is gonna, by the end of this 20-year transit, so that's gonna be what, 2044? So right around 2044, if we're all still alive, we're going to see the power of humans. We're going to see what is so powerful about humanity. Why does everybody want to freaking be here? Why does everybody want our planet? Why does everybody want us? Why does everybody want our skin? Why does everybody want to be in my vagina? You know what I mean? Like, why?
Mhm.
Like, why? And I think that that's going to become more apparent as this rolls out. But I do think that there's an animal kingdom trying to talk to us. I think plants are trying to talk to us. I think demons are trying to talk to us. Whatever, I think there's many thousands of realms of demons and angels and aliens and you know what I mean? I don't think it's like that cut and dry. Like between like what is a Sasquatch trying to say to me versus what is a bacteria or what is a fungus trying to say to me. I think that like every entity that you can imagine is trying to become human.
Yeah. And
And
this
I
is
think that
and
that's going to
that's
be
the
that
thing is
depth of Pluto that will become revealed over time. What do you think about that?
oh, I totally agree. And then it just especially with what you're saying, with everyone trying to be human, like there's a thought exercise I'd really do to get me, especially with the dark topics that I'll dive into and and you kind of see in the group chat, I'll go on these like multi-day benders of like diving deep on like some of these like really darker topics. No, but one of the thought exercises that I do to keep myself sane, or kind of like holding the light, and this gets into my name for the astrology business, Night's Light, and all that, like holding your light in the night. Um, but one of the things I do is I try to remember that there are like so many, whether you want to call them demonic forces or whatever, that are always like within your sphere, and of course you've got your counters, your own physical energy of like love and all that, your guardian angels, whatever you want to call them. We can call them all sorts of different things that ward these away, but they're always like just outside, kind of like grasping, reaching at you, wanting to be a part of this reality, knowing that they can't embody. And there's so many different places that these beings come from. One of them is, the fall of humanity. I think in Atlantis, there's many different places where they come from, but then they slowly get that soul degradation. I think this is what kind of the gray aliens are like leftover experiments from and us genetically modifying ourselves during the Atlantean times and just like getting a soul degradation. And now they're clinging on for dear life because they know the next thing that happens is they become one of those beings that's sitting here on the outside looking in, doesn't get to be a part of the reincarnational cross anymore of humanity. And like it's a fate worse than death. It's like the kind of like the eighth sphere stuff too. And we've just got all these disembodied beings who are not a part of the actual cycle of reincarnation here because of something they did or because that's just how they are as a being. And like we have to remember, like they covet and envy us so much and they want dominion over us. And that's really what gets me to hold the light. But that's also where I just totally agree with you. And also, I'm saying all these things in kind of how I see it, but I'm so open and malleable to seeing these things in different ways and all that. I just like for that to be the first step for, especially for like deep UFO people who have sold themselves to, whether Pleiadians is my start in all of this, by the way. I was an atheist and I found Pleiadian stuff. That was my awakening. So I have a special spot for this stuff, but we need to really just like have a reality check, I think, and be open and not create new religions out of this stuff.
Ugh, the religion. That is such a good word to describe what is going on. It's very culty and it's very religious.
Hmm.
Science is culty. Science is a religion. This UFO disclosure stuff, totally culty, totally a religion. And the other thing is that they eat their own. It's a cannibalistic situation, you know, and
Yeah, well,
especially with
yeah.
Mars and Aries, Neptune and Aries, Saturn and Aries, that just violence, you know? That violent aspect of these clashes of worlds, these war between worlds. I don't even think that we're in a war with other humans. I think that we are having wars between worlds, wars between dimensions, and for Normieville, for normie life, for what we see on the news, like these countries that are at play against each other, that's just a symbolic representation of the esoteric journey that we're all on, whether we realize that we're in it together or not.
Oh, hey, I'm smiling at you. She also has that Pleiadian connection. There's so many people I
Oh,
meet
cool.
that start out with the Pleiadian connection there, and that is the one thing I take away and I love. And it's so funny because now we're talking about Pleiadians. I'm gonna bring it back up, but Barbara Marciniak, it was one of her like channeling slash books. It was like an audio book, but a compilation of her channelings. She even said, like first of all, she said that we as Pleiadians, like we give you these spiritual lessons, but we also trick you, and it's to teach you discernment. You know what I mean? And so I like that's what I always love about them. But also, they say what happens here on Earth will affect many, many realities, and that's the way that when you see things moving and how people are moving, whether it's people who are incarnated here in humanity or other types of beings and entities, they are acting and moving in such a way where it seems like what we do here affects so many different realities.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like no one is taking into consideration. Holy crap. I'm sorry, I have to just sort of. Okay. Oh
Oh
shit.
my
I'm in the
gosh.
wrong. Fuck. Oh shit. I gotta mute this. I just went off. Okay, Robin, our Robin just texted me. Remember how we were talking about, I was just like, God, all I can get in my head, all that hits right now is Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
Remember? Uh, that when I was saying that earlier in our conversation,
Hmm.
like it came through like that. She just texted Hillbilly Elegy. It's a movie. It's a book. Here, I'm gonna put the link in here. This is fucking crazy. Okay, so here.
I mean,
Uh
that was kind of what I just assumed you were talking about, honestly.
oh, you knew what it was?
Well, I just knew it was a movie.
I didn't know. Hold on. I'm gonna here talk about something while I get this set up for the people.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, the one thing that I had in my head here that I didn't even bring up, just to be mindful of for this full moon, is people around you. Make sure that they're being safe with their travel and everything, because we've got that Jupiter square. It's a loose square. It's a very loose square, but it's in the orb of influence. And then when you combine that with the square to Pluto, both loose squares, but just tell people to be careful when they're traveling, or
Mm.
like not to really get involved with the road rage. The road rage has been really bad already. I think it's going to start to, I don't know if I'd say this is the peak, but one of the peaks that we're in all this Aries energy with the road rage.
That's a good point. Um, Because you might end up writing checks that your ass can't cash. You know what I'm saying? It could go too far. That's the thing about the Scorpio energy is things can go way too far. And
Hmm.
once you get on that inertia, once you start diving deep and deep and deep, you might just start to sink. You know, you might not be able to see the surface anymore, you know.
Yeah, well, and it
So,
gets into like the structure being built in the mining underneath too. Like we gotta be mindful of that thing coming out of left field as we've been
yes,
building these new structures in our lives.
yes, what is underneath the foundation? Has anybody been fracking? You know, and then back to the Antarctica thing, you know, what portals are being opened, and once these valves get opened, if they get busted, you know, how do we shut them? How do we shut them back? Is there a container anymore, or does Saturn just get blasted out of the water, literally? So
Hmm.
apparently, Hillbilly Elegy. Let's look at this. This is, I don't know why that came in my head, but it just did when we were talking about Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis, is a 2016 memoir by J.D. Vance about the Appalachian values of his family from Kentucky and the socioeconomic problems of his hometown of Middleton, Ohio. Hmm.
Yeah, see, I didn't know, by the way. I assumed you were talking about like the book slash movie or something earlier, and I hear it all the time because I follow and keep tabs on Nick Fuentes and he brings up this book. So I kind of like thought you meant something around this, but it seemed more ideological what you brought up. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll keep listening before I ask. So okay.
Yeah, Hillbilly Elegy, when it came in my mind when we were talking just now, or like an hour, whenever it hit, I was just thinking about like an elegy, like elegy, like it keeps coming in my mind, like the past however many days, like leading up to this full moon in Scorpio. And an elegy, as far as I recall, an elegy is a poem or a song that is a lament. It has to do with people dying. It has to do with me, you know, making a an offering of song or an offering of a poem to lament a death, or to lament a death of a process, or to lament a death of a transformation, or a death of a community, right? So Hillbilly Elegy, when it came, it to me, that vision was like the death of the everyday like hillbilly person that just doesn't know any better, the person that just is out there like farming tobacco or making vegetables and stuff, and just, you know, there's going to be like this symbolic death of our of these as of now protected cultures. So let's see what it's actually about. I mean, that's just what was in my head, you know, just in my
That's so
imagination.
crazy though. That's a 12th houser thing right there. That's wild.
Maybe. I mean,
Like it like something came through and it ends up being because are you saying you didn't know about the book and movie, but you just
I
kind of came
didn't
up
know
with
about the book
the
and
that's
movie.
crazy.
Yeah. You know what's kind of funny about my intuition is that my intuition sometimes makes me smarter than I actually am, because like I don't even know that this stuff exists. Like,
Well, see, I'm opposite of you like that, where it's like my knowledge acquisition can like open the way for like certain intuition to come in. And I've told you about like a mental intuition that I have. So it's so I like how we play off each other with that.
yeah, I don't know anything. Like I don't watch the news. I don't like Raffi, it just occurred to me a few days ago, because like, and I'm really sorry about this, you guys. Like, I'm really sorry about this. And I'm sorry for being so ignorant. Like, I know I'm not a stupid person, but sometimes I am like legitimately ignorant. Like, I just really don't know. Like, I really didn't know that Hillbilly Elegy existed. Like, I might have heard of it or something, but I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, this is the first time I get this text and I'm like, what? I'm like, there's a link, and I look it up, and then there the fucking, I'm like, wait, this exists? It just came in my mind, but you know, everything is out there. You just tap into it sometimes, but Um, you know, like when David Wilcock died, you know, like I got a text from somebody and they were like, yeah, David Wilcock just died. I've been dealing with this for like the past half hour or whatever. And I text back and I was like, oh wow, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna light a candle for your friend or whatever. But like I'm like thinking in my mind, I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this is. Like I've never heard of the guy. Never heard of him. I'm sorry. Like I've literally never watched an episode of Ancient Aliens in my life.
Oh yeah. That's I mean that I respect that actually.
I have no idea. Like those years of my life from I'd say it was from like 2006 or 7, 2004, maybe even earlier, because I remember living in Europe. I didn't really watch TV. Like pretty much from the early 2000s all the way until like I didn't really have a TV in my house till like 2018. Like when I was a
Probably because you could
kid,
put YouTube on it, right? No.
well, yeah, YouTube. Oh, I fucking love YouTube.
Because that's what's always on my TV, YouTube, or if I'm doing a stream, I've got like a chart up, you know?
I love YouTube. Like ever since YouTube was invented, what was that, 06, 07, 08, something like that?
Yeah.
I
I
love
know I've had
YouTube.
my account since '09, so I maybe like '08. I know I've made it really early on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, but no, '06 sounds right, actually. I think I remember hearing that.
But
'06 or
YouTube
'07.
is different because like you search for what you're looking for. Like it's not just like whatever's on TV.
Hmm.
Like it kind of is more now because with the algorithm and the commercials that they put, which by the way, if anybody clicks on my channel, the other channel that I have where I sing music and I do farm stuff and I do recipes and stuff, YouTube puts ads on my videos. It's not me, it's them. Just so people know that, I'm not trying to like put ads on my videos and stuff, but they just do it. And then I don't even know why they do it. I only have like 100 followers over there. And I maybe have like 300 over here. I don't have that many followers to have. I thought you had to have 500 followers to get ads on your videos.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
they've got these weird requirements, but then they'll still send you the email that you got demonetized. Like I was checking my email to get the link from you right before I got on, and they were telling me about my stream last night got demonetized, which I don't care about because it's like I'm not getting those kind of numbers or anything right now. But and
And we're
it
never
was for
gonna the way that we talk.
right. Well, and but last night I had that long ass. I mean, it was like 2.5 hours, not like super long, but long enough. And I had one moment where I played that video at the end on Twitter, and there was a little soundtrack music in it, and that's where they were like, "It's demonetized." I'm like, okay, like,
I
but I'm
mean,
like, so
you
I guess they're putting ads on my videos too. It's like, what? Like, I want that
already?
on there. Like, if they're saying it was demonetized, I guess.
Yeah, like they pick and choose. They pick and choose. Like, yeah, there's obviously something going on. Like, for sure. And Dead Wolf had said earlier that our stream was glitching today. Like, who
Oh,
are we?
really?
We're nobody. We are nobody. You
Well,
know what I
and
mean?
that's the thing I've been hearing from a lot of spiritual people that are also into tech, and they're saying how essentially we're being identified and like suppressed in the algorithm, which would make a lot of sense when I look at your stuff and the numbers and everything like that. Like, because I see like the numbers go up, but not the level I would expect for the value that you provide. Does that make sense?
Well, thanks for saying that. It's interesting to me too, because I see that even if they are telling the truth about the numbers, like as far as percentages are concerned, okay, say I have 300 people on this channel and say 30 people watch my video or 100 people watch my video. That's like 33%. That's high. If 33% of Jimmy Church's freaking followers watched his freaking videos, can you imagine those numbers?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing much, but for what I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Well, and with like you look at someone like Alex Jones and how many people he had watching the show when he still hosted his own website and did it through there versus when he switched to X. Now there's always millions of people watching at any given time. I just don't believe that. Compared to when you're looking at numbers on all the other different platforms of the biggest people, like even Nick Fuentes, like he was super watched during when the Iran war popped off, but he only got up to 60,000 live viewers. I'm like, I don't believe like all of these numbers are necessarily correct.
It's odd who the handlers pick and choose to be the mouthpieces and why. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I'm not, I do my best to just stay under the radar, be stupid, be foolish, and just talk shit and have a good time. You know what I mean? If the handlers decide that one day that I shouldn't be, spiritually assaulted, if one day I wake up in the morning and I'm all of a sudden just like not spiritually assaulted, and if one day I wake up and I'm just all of a sudden able to get a paycheck easily, and, I think it helps to not be too smart. It helps to keep that nice, foolish, full card tarot. Oh, speaking of tarot, do you
Us
have
kids call it
cards?
retard maxing, by the way. You got to retard
Retard!
max. Oh man.
I'm just gonna leave that.
There's even like a whole line of content. You just type it into YouTube. There's a whole line of content where people like are serious about retard maxing. And they're like, just be as stupid as possible. Your life will be better. Be oblivious to everything. It's great.
Okay,
And
so
it's
that
actually
is
good
literally
life
my
advice.
life
Like I like
plan.
it.
I did not even know that was a thing. Once again, I'm maxing over here. I'm not going to use that word because one of my best friends, it really, really, really hurts her feelings. That word really, really, she hates that word. And it
Oh
and it
yeah.
hurts her feelings. And so I'm not gonna use it, but I'm gonna use it. Like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what I do. That is so what I do. Like my whole life. I'm just like, I don't know anything. I ain't seen shit. I don't know anything. Actually, I have this really good friend. He's from Delavan. His name is Matt, but his rap name is Shea Butter. Here.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
put it in the chat. Shea Butter. Um, you gotta look up Shea Butter. He's a rapper from Delavan. Actually, oddly enough, Raffi, he is by day his what he does for a living. He happens to be a rocket scientist.
No way.
Yes, he works in the space industry. He's literally a rocket scientist, but he's also a white guy rapper who's
Yeah.
a friend of mine, and he came out with this album, and it's really good. It's called The Midlife Crisisist, and he has this one song on his album, and some of the lyrics go, he's like, I've been around the world and I. Yeah, I've seen a little bit. I've been around the world and I. If anyone's asking, I ain't seen shit.
Yeah, I like that.
If anyone is asking, I ain't seen shit.
That's really where it's at these days, pretty
And that's
much.
pretty
I mean,
much, yeah. Like,
like
so
I
if
didn't see
everybody wants to
anything.
check out Shea Butter, like he's Delavan hometown favorite, and he's a brilliant guy. Um, Delavan, you're right, Raffi. What you said earlier, I really need to pull the chart for my town because my hometown is Tartaria up and down.
Oh, I do remember you bringing that up. Yeah.
This place is crazy. Lake Lawn Resort, where they're having this conference, the Smithsonian excavated Nephilim, giant Nephilim
I was gonna
skulls.
ask you earlier. I was like, "Do you got some giant stuff going on?" It was something that just came through like way earlier when you first brought up the conference at the beginning.
Yeah,
That's
we got
crazy.
fucking giants. We got giants, we got elephants, we got circus, we got all the symbolism, like all the symbolism everywhere, like every fucking conspiracy that you can think of. Anything that you've ever seen on Dr. Longo's channel, Old World, Florida, by the way, if anybody hasn't been there, I'm sure everybody here has been there, but if you haven't been to Old World, Florida, like every freaking conspiracy that this guy outlines, they all converge in Delavan. And whether the woman who put together this conference realizes it or not, it's a fact. Like everything converges here. The Shriners, the circus, Barnum and Bailey. P.T. Barnum and
Wow.
Bailey, they originated in Florida. They based themselves here. So it's this Florida Wisconsin connection. The University of Wisconsin-Madison actually started one of the biggest scientific bases of research in Antarctica. Okay.
Wow.
So that started at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Wisconsin is a state that was born in 1848, right around the last reset, the
Oh yeah.
Tartarian reset. Okay. The town of Delavan itself, I think, was established in 1861 by two brothers. And guess what their last name was?
Donovan?
Phoenix.
Phoenix? Whoa. I was like,
All
let me
the
just like throw out
symbols,
something. I was like the first thing that comes to mind.
you know what I'm saying? And speaking of Scorpio energy, because Scorpio energy, it starts as a scorpion, it moves on to evolve to be the eagle, and then it moves on to evolve to be the phoenix. So the phoenix rising. Okay,
That's
so
incredible. It's like reminding me of all of these connections that are out of Huntsville, Alabama, and while you were bringing all this up, it made me think like maybe there's some type of like with the ley lines and the energy vortexes where there's some kind of shakeup coming to them where things are moving to like old locations that they used to be at, and like people are in the right place where they're supposed to be for this stuff to go down. Like it's just making me think of that because it just seems like there's this huge shift like in the energetics and where people are going to be drawn to, and it will be away from these places where there's all this just like weird corrupt power, and I live under a hijacked portal, you know what I mean?
oh,
So,
100%. Vegas is amazing. And aliens love Vegas. They love casinos.
oh yeah, yeah, I've heard those stories.
Mm-hmm.
I like
So I mean, there's reasons why everything is landing here in Delavan. Of course, the main reason is because it's all about me. But but I am a part of it, whether I want to be or not. I'm a part of it, right? Whether you want to be or not, you're a part of it. Like here we are, here they are. Like what other fucking reason would everything be drawn here? Like this town is like it's the most random place ever. Like who would look at the map and say Delavan, Wisconsin, this is where we're gonna like there's just some weird all of the symbols are just landing here. I don't know. Everybody's just got to get a few
Yeah.
cheese curds and come over here and see me tomorrow.
You and I get like pushed into these. I feel like we this is like somewhere where we're similar, is that we have a certain way we want to do things or like kind of stay out of the fray, but the universe is like, no, 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 like you came here for something. And it's like, oh, like, do I got it though? I just want to chill, man. Like,
And I have a 12th house sun, as you know. You know, my sun is in the 12th house.
mhm.
However, I do have a north node. I have north node in Leo, I have south node in Aquarius. So I need to become more comfortable with picking up the mic. Like literally, this lifetime, like I need to become more comfortable with spotlight. When I was a little girl, I had no problem with the spotlight. I would stand in front of the mirror when we were shopping. My mom would take us to the department stores. I'd stand in front of the mirror and sing and
Oh,
I was just like so happy to be seen and to sing in front of people and perform and stuff. And now I'm trying to get back to that comfort level, but people are just like in physics, you know, when they talk about Schrodinger's cat or like the principle of photons changing their behavior when they're observed. Like I change my behavior when I'm observed. Like just knowing that there's a like just knowing that there's that separation between me and God, that there's another observer, like watching my intimate connection with my spirit and my God, it kind of makes me close off. I don't like
Yeah, I
voyeurs.
feel you.
I don't
Because
like people
I
watching me
almost I wonder if
cook.
this placement, like now that I think about like a sun in the 12th versus what I'm going to bring up here, which is my Chiron Leo in the 12th. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. Like I've got this wound around visibility and all that, and just like being in front of people, but everything else in my chart pushes me into that and being so good at. Oh, I should tell you this story, by the way. But first, answer that though on the similarities, what you feel about that. But I got to tell you a story of something that happened like a couple days ago.
Tell
All right.
me.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll tell you. I just didn't want. I wanted to give you a chance of. So I first of all, I had this dream. Well, this gets into the dream stuff and all that. But I had a dream. I'm going around this facility. I wouldn't call it like a mall or anything like that. But it was like a facility I was going through, and it was like we were being held prisoner. But I was getting people out. I was like shepherding them, and like, okay, no, we got to go this way. But there was a guy who was hunting us down, and I finally got everyone into this atrium. I'm like, okay, guys, like stay here. Like, I'm gonna go find this guy and make sure he like doesn't come in and find us, and then we're gonna be able to get out. He's blocking the entrance. Like, I'll lure him away, and then and it ended up being like a kind of a Star Wars thing. So I was a Force user. I had a lightsaber, and then this guy was like a Sith guy or something. Like he had the red lightsaber. I had like one that was
Nice.
pulsating between gold and purple. But I like found this dude and I like got his attention, and then I ran back to the atrium because I needed room to fight because I couldn't fight in the hallways. And I've been playing my Star Wars game. Like I haven't played it in like a couple weeks now, but I had played that. So I'm like, maybe it's fresh in my mind from that. But they have different stances and styles. So I had like this like two-hander lightsaber, like it's essentially a claymore. And I fought this dude. We destroyed the whole atrium. It was like such a sick ass cool fight. I protected people with my force abilities and all that. But it was like this is where I say I dream the future, because then I go to give plasma. And this is the reason I bring this up is it's working
This is in
through.
real life or this is in your dream still?
So in real life, like I finished up the fight, and then we all got out and everything, and then that's the end of my dream. And so I went to donate plasma. This is in real life now. I went to go donate plasma, and then because I'm under a good promo right now, I get like 150 for every time I go, and it's like 40 minutes. So like hell yeah, I love when they send me stuff. Um, so I'm going to do that, and then they had closed early, but they didn't send an email, didn't send anything. I was early for my appointment as is, and they still didn't close for like another hour. And then so I show up, I'm like trying to get in. I'm like, what's going on? Why are the doors locked? And then they're like not paying attention. They can hear me trying to get the doors open, but they're like trying to pretend like I'm not there. You know, it's it's like these are two different ways in which you'll see when by the time I'm done with the story, you'll see how it hits my Chiron Leo in the 12th in two different ways. But and then these other ladies come up too, and they're trying to get in. They're like, "Well, what the heck? Like it's not even our appointment yet. We're early." And like we, you know, are like, I'm here on time, and this is my appointment stuff." And so we had to wait for someone to come out from donating plasma to like for us to get in. And in the meantime, one of the ladies had actually turned to us and waved her finger no, and it's like what do we do with that? Like we have appointments. Like I don't know what that means. And so we get in, and it's like by the time we had gotten in, I had become the ringleader of like five people who were, and I was being like a total fucking Karen, dude. Like I loved it. But I just love having fun. And this is kind of where I started being active in Robert's chat, is when I was using like my Mars Leo, which is in the 11th house. I was using that, but like I will get the people riled the fuck up, dude. You know my moon and Saturn in Aquarius. I'll get people riled the fuck up, dude. So I was like, no, we're gonna like leave bad reviews and stuff, and we're gonna go in there and like give them a piece of our mind and all this stuff. And so like I go
I'm
in there
healing
and
my Chiron and Leo, motherfuckers. We're doing this.
yes. So I was just like, so it was like this is like more of the healing side of it, but then
I
it
need
was
my
also there's the wound
$150.
side.
But shit. I mean,
Well, dude, yeah. Because
I
now I have to go today after we do this, and it's like, well, I wanted to have today free to like do other stuff in the evening, but it is what it is. But yeah, like I got in there and it was just so funny. I was like ringleading and voicing like all of the opinions of all the five people around me because they didn't want to speak up, and like the
yeah,
guy just doesn't know what to do. And then I got out of it, and I like knew I was on camera. I like made note of the times. I sent everything to corporate, dude, and corporate just got back to me today and they're like pissed off. They're totally pissed at like what happened. I guess they, because I had a weird feeling they closed early because they didn't feel like doing anything, but they said it was due to short staffing. So that's the part I didn't say. They
if
said it.
there's
He's like,
somebody
oh, sorry,
standing
we're
here
short
going
staffed.
like this, they're not short-staffed.
Yeah, right. I was just like what the fuck's going on? So and then they even gave me a promo for like essentially more money. Like they extended out my promo so I get like another couple donations with 150, but I was just I'm not the one, dude. Like I'm not the one. And then the dude tried to lie and say that he didn't turn us away early. And I'm like, look at the cameras. It was this time, blah blah blah. I look like this lady looks like this. Like this is the time we had the conversation. Like I'm not the one, but I had to tell that story because it's just so funny to me because it's like my dream was like preparing me for what was about to happen. And like,
That is
yeah.
crazy. And I am not the one. And Scorpio, one thing really true about Scorpio energy is they can't fucking stand liars. They can't stand lies. Like they can't
Hmm.
stand it. Like, do not do not lie to a Scorpio. It's not going to work out. And
Yeah, no.
you know, with you talking
My
about your
mom's a double
Chiron and
Scorpio.
Leo,
I
the
learned a
12th
long
house of
time ago
energy
not
and
to
the
lie to
healing,
her.
like Leo is okay being in the spotlight. Leo is okay gathering people together. Aquarius energy is the wallflowers. Aquarius energy is the ones in the back of the show, at the back of the venue, dancing in the background, holding it down, while the Leo's at the mic, you know, on the marquee, the reason that everybody got together in the first place. The Leo is the sun.
Yep.
Aquarius is the sky. Aquarius is Uranus, Saturn's dad, the All Father.
Hmm.
That's the
All
sky where
father.
the sun sits, but the sun is usually what gets most of the attention. So if we actually have to get anything done, we have to get into our heart and we have to get into our solar plexus and we have to act from our Leo self, which might be uncomfortable for some of us who do tend to, hang back and maybe not be as narcissistic or as traditional. I mean, I think we're all narcissists now. By
Really,
now,
yeah.
most of us are just fucking narcissists,
Yeah, and
you
now that
know?
we're in the Aries energy, like this is the thing I go around saying, like more, this is more to normies when I'm giving them light readings and stuff, but like I will always try to work in this whole idea of like we need to stop looking over our shoulders and being like, oh, do people think I'm a bad person? Do people think I'm racist or sexist? It's like just be your fucking self, dude. Like it's just we're past that shit. Like
Yeah, the virtue signaling is definitely very last season.
it's for real. It's for real.
I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, oh, I love you, Sharon. Thank you for being here, my dear. Oh gosh, thank you. Thank you everybody for being here. You dear, dear, tolerant, tolerant people. But for real, but yeah, that's true. It's no judgment. It's their journey. Yeah, like, um, yeah. Oh, this is a good point. I'm smiling says, my oopsies. I'm smiling says my discernment since being a fade or not, if for anybody who doesn't know, a fade or not is the official term for fans of Jimmy Church radio, of Jimmy
Okay.
Church podcast. It's called Fade to Black Radio. And he does a podcast every week, pretty much. Sometimes he's filming for Gaia TV, which is a whole nother realm that again I want to, you know, artard Max. I'm gonna artard Max and pretend that I don't know anything about it. But
Dude,
anyway, he
some of
films
the
for
stuff I
that
found out
company,
about Guy, am I
and
on?
then but most weeks he'll do a podcast Monday through Thursday, and I'm smiling. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot watching that podcast, you know. Um and um yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Dad Wolf. Thank you for welcoming us to your camp. I maybe one day, you know, Dead Wolf. We all know good old Dead Wolf. He's such a protector. He is a Taurus. He
Oh, that
has
makes
a,
sense.
yep, mid-May. He has the birthday coming up. He's very earthy. He's very solid human being. Thank you for being here. Sharon Marie, I love you too. She has a channel on YouTube. She's very positive energy.
She's got an
Um,
Aquarian moon. I was like, oh, I like Aquarian moons.
this is our other friend Sharon. Her name is Sharon too, but her username is not. And she's an awesome, very positive, wonderful individual, crafty, creative, able to quilt, able to do, you know, a bunch of things, but just very like I don't know her personally, but I know her spirit and I love it so much. And this Sharon is correct. Dead Wolf is divine masculine. That is so true. That is so true. Um, but actually, I see
Deadpool
that we've
gets
been
around
going
to a
for like
lot of
two
streams to where
hours
he
and
can either say
36
hi
minutes,
or
so I don't know
support.
if we should wrap it up soon or if we have any closing thoughts. Have we talked? Can we ask you guys that are still in the chat, are there any burning questions or things that we haven't covered about this moon that maybe need a little extra attention before? I mean, we already talked about the Uranus and Gemini coming in. We did a little bit of a teaser for what we might talk about coming into the Scorpio full moon, since we have a blue moon this month, two full moons now and then at the end of the month. Um, we didn't talk about Jupiter a lot, but basically what Jupiter is going to boil down to is that water, the Jupiter in water, which by sign, okay, is trining the moon and the North Node in Pisces by whole sign house. This water energy is just going to be further amplified and further brought down to the depths. But I'm going to stand by what I said earlier, which is that I I think that like what you said, the roll out the domino effect is going to start to swirl down instead of up. I think that this disclosure movement is going to move away from people like Chris Bledsoe and the ones that are looking for the angels and looking for um the Lady Mary or whoever the fuck he channels. Like I think it's going to get way darker. I think it's going to get
Yeah,
way darker. I think it's going to get way deeper and way darker. And I think that the people that are channeling like those type of like love and light beings and these love and light entities and stuff like that, I think it's really going to blow the lid and become a lot more.
I
I
think
think we're
they're
going to
kind
see
of in
more
for a
news
rude
coming out of
awakening.
Antarctica. I think we're going to see more news coming out of submarines. I think we're going to see more news coming out. Richard Dolan was talking about a book that he just came out with recently, which was about not UAPs, but USPs, I think, unidentified submerged,
Oh yeah,
you know, and I think that that's going to be the next like horizon is what I'm getting off of this
I
full
agree.
moon. I think
I
stuff like
totally
that's
agree.
going to be illuminated. What do you think?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that I follow that I still find to be credible after I've thrown out a lot of UFO people. You know, this is what they talk about as well, is that like what's more interesting are the USOs, unidentified submerged objects, or or
Yes.
USP, like you're saying. And really like that seems the most likely to me because my whole theory, which I'm always open to change, is that like a great deal of these are the remnants of the Atlantean culture. So it would make sense that they're coming from underwater. It would make sense that they all like a great deal of them lie about being aliens for like operational security, essentially. Because like then they're not revealing where they're from. It's like they don't want us like coming down there like less advanced at everything, messing with what they've got going on. But it does seem like that's kind of more what we should be looking at. And there is on the metaphysical aspect, when you get into, you can look at like some of John Dee's work, some of these like older, like Plato and the Platonic solids, a lot of this older stuff that really has this direct relation between water and space.
Mm.
And even on the NASA level, I think it's useful to view this in the lens of hermeticism and occultism and all that, and the whole leak thing that came out of like the astronauts that they would videotape in space really being in water and all that. Like were they really just in water, or is there like this weird connection between plasma, water, space, the vacuum of space, the energy associated with it? There's so much that we can't get our hands on, but there's some connection between all these two. So water and space, like, well, you can't have one without the other, it seems to me, in terms of what exists within them, and especially in the depths. Then we could get into Cthulhu and like eldritch beings and all that. That's very Lovecraftian horror, that kind of stuff. But yeah, like that, I totally agree with the USP USO, that coming to the forefront, and especially if they try to give us a reveal that's prepackaged with something from Antarctica, that would be the logical next step.
Have you ever heard of Ra Castaldo? He's
Rock
done
Castaldo,
interviews with
no.
Robert Phoenix.
Oh, oh
I just
wow,
put it in
okay.
chat. He has a YouTube and he does a podcast called Space Water Podcast.
That's cool. I'm putting that in one of my tabs right now just to have for later.
Yeah. Exploring the Ka with Ra Castaldo. Now, he is another person. Like most of the people that I watch on YouTube are like under 1,000 followers. Like the people that are really out here, really saying shit, really, really saying shit, they don't have numbers. Anybody that has
Yeah.
numbers, it's cool. They have a community, they have other people that you can talk to. But most of the people that actually have information that actually have real information, they don't have numbers. You're never gonna hear of them. They're never gonna come across your algorithm.
Hmm.
You gotta check
Well,
this
then
guy out, Rock
and then look
Castaldo.
at like that's the case with Jesse Michaels. Like and if you haven't heard of him, he rips off all of Dark Journalist stuff, and he's got like millions of people, or like hundreds of thousands, or like a million, something like that. But he just rips all of his stuff off, like scrubs it with AI, and just takes all of the research Dark Journalist did. He called him out in his last stream, by the way. But Dark Journalist is only like 50,000 followers, like in comparison. But he's got the real stuff that's coming out, and he's worked hard for even just that 50,000 with being shadow banned.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Rock Castaldo has some really good points, and I think basically the crux of his work is to just sort of like shout from the rooftops that us as human beings, we need to have a plan when we die. And the plan is not go to the light. Like whatever you guys do, anybody who's watching this podcast right now or anybody that watches that on the replay, if there's one thing I can tell you, do not go to the light. Never, ever go to the light. It is false. When you die and you see the light, don't go there. You need to have a plan before you die. And I'm not talking about like what money you're going to give to your children or whatever. You need to know where the fuck you're going to go. You need to know what your star coordinates are. And Ra Castaldo does a really good job of delineating how to make a plan.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing I've always thought, I have his channel pulled up, so I'm definitely gonna look into him, because I just love that there's the space water thing he brings in. So I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some deep shit here. But in terms of the light and everything, one of the earliest things I heard, I think it was from like Phil Schneider, or no, it was Alex Collier, he talked to the Andromedans, that guy, way
You
back.
know
He's
me,
like,
I don't know who the hell anybody is. I
right,
just get
right.
the info and then I have to Google it later.
But Alex Collier, he was saying that when he would speak to the Andromedans, that they always said, "Don't go to the light." And I haven't went back and revisited his work. It may be stuff I throw out, but I always this always stuck with me. He said, like, don't go to the light, just like pause for a moment, take a step back, or what would feel like a step back, because you're disembodied, and turn around, and you'll see all the stars in the universe behind you. And that always stuck with me too. But I also think, like, because of like the path that people like you and I are on, everyone that's watching, because of the path that we're on, when we pass on, we're going to remember what exactly to do. And I agree with that. Jesus all the way. I'm a Jesus Maxer. Sue me. But no. But I also just think like we'll like remember so much of why we came here. When we die, we'll know exactly what to do in the situation.
Yeah, it's life, isn't it? Once you die, and then hopefully that information is reborn, or hopefully, hopefully the swirls just keep continuing and expanding downwards, upwards, and sideways. You know what I mean? That's like the clover, the four-leaf clover. It's going up, down, and sideways. The infinity is going like this and like this. It's not just an ankh, it's a four-leaf clover. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what my visuals are telling me.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
four-leaf
think
clover
I need
always
to kind of
speaks to
close
me.
up shop here because I am getting hungry. I'm still a human
Yeah,
being and I need
I know.
snacks.
I had some toast before. That was all I've had today. I was like, let me just get some toast in before we start.
Yeah, I
And I
need
want to say, I
snacks.
started this with like a super bad stomach ache.
Oh,
And like, I
honey.
was like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to make it through when we were only like 5 minutes in. But
Oh,
just through talking to you,
sweetie. Why do you
I
have a
just feel
stomach
way better.
ache?
What?
Why do you have a stomach ache?
I don't know. I just woke up and like I had a stomach ache. I think maybe because I was trying to hit my protein without getting a lot of calories. So I had like 2 bowls of Greek yogurt before I went to bed, and maybe I just needed something a little more solid. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it was something like that, something like that.
Hmm.
But just having this stomach ache that was really bad. So, and we don't have any aspects to Virgo going on or my like sixth house really. So I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously our nervous systems might be a little shook too, depending how you slept or depending what you did while you were sleeping. Who knows what got rearranged?
Yeah, what Josie said, dairy grumble. I'm like, because I usually have lactose free, but I will always have like lactose yogurt. But I could have been just the extra one. Maybe I'm just getting older.
I am gonna hit that leftover pasta. You were so thoughtful. You remember.
She's like, hit that. Raphael, rub your belly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Aw.
Well, you could at least enjoy rubbing my belly. I do have a six pack.
Oh, Dead Wolf says, come on, man, you can eat during the live stream. Put on some music and eat. Well, maybe I should. Maybe I should make this into a mukbang. Raffi, did you know I always wanted to be a mukbanger?
You told me before what that is, and I totally forgot.
Mukbang is like, I guess in Asia, because like people were working like work, 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 right? They go to the office and then they come home and they're by themselves in their little apartments, in their little tiny apartments all by themselves. And they were going to go eat dinner after work, but they were like lonely. So people started making these videos where people are just eating, just like eating, eating, eating. And so
Oh
people would
yeah,
like tune
okay.
into these mukbang. They call it mukbang. Here, I'll spell it here if
Yeah,
anybody.
like that's like Nikado avocado or whatever.
Nikado
Or-
Avocado, Trisha
Yeah.
Paytas, like the YouTubers from like the early 2010s. Yes, that is my goal. Like
That
I
was an
want to be a
incredible
mukbang.
reveal that he did where he lost all the weight. I was like, oh shit, okay.
That was so weird.
Well,
That that is
it
a
was weird.
whole that and honestly, I think that those people are going to come back around. Like a lot of this.
Oh, okay.
Like really, like I just think that like some of that weird shit, like even Jeffree Star might come back into the news, like shit like that. For real.
Oh yeah. You know, the guy that I lived in a mansion with, which is so weird that that
You
happened, but
lived
I
in a
ended up
mansion?
yeah, I rented a room in a mansion just during COVID, and once COVID like stuff started opening back up and all that, then like I moved out, and like the universe kind of pushed me out. I'm you know, not like necessarily because of the dude I was living with, but he was business partners with Jeffree Star. And so he was always like there were times where I'd leave because like Jeffrey was coming over, and you know he like wanted to be professional and not have to. But it was I just thought I'd bring that up because it was I always found that fascinating. Okay, well we lost Esperanza for a second there. She might have just turned off the camera, but if she's got to reconnect, you know I can keep you guys company, no worries. Well, I know we were looking at this chart here. You know, I do want to make a correction here because last night I was looking deeply at that Uranus Jupiter conjunction that's going to happen in Leo, but that's actually not the next conjunction of
What?
Jupiter and Uranus. That's actually going to be in the late degrees of Cancer, and then it will be in the very late degrees of Leo. So I just want to make that correction for everyone who is who may be watching and all that. I like to be pretty precise. I'm a Virgo rising. Well, I can actually screen share because I just lost her here. So let me I might have to let's take a look at this chart here. Will it let me present? Well, I can't do that. Oh, you know, I can do it on this screen, guys. Hold on. Okay. We're not going to deal with all that right now. Let's see here. Let's just take a look at chat. Okay, cool. Irish goodbye. All right. Well, I love you guys so much. It was great talking with the Esperanza. And I think, yeah, once I leave the studio, it should end out everything. So I'll double check though, okay? But you guys have a good one. And of course, feel free to check out my website, nightslight.co. I've got my link tree. Esperanza put that up there before. And you guys take it easy.